Alrighty. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Whitestorm here from World of Tanks International Communities Administration Team, and today we're going to be watching Happy Noobs against MRED. So they are going to be starting very, very shortly. We're going to do a quick interview with the team and commanders, and we are also going to have a second team playing RRLD against GTD-X at about 20 past 8 tonight, London mean time. Let's get the interview started.
User was moved to your channel. User was moved to your channel.
Hello there, guys. How's it going?
Hello.
Just please no swearing whilst we're on the live stream there. So, how are you feeling? You okay? You excited?
A little bit excited.
Yeah. What do you think
Try
about
our
the
best.
format?
Hey, wake up.
How do you think about the format? 7 versus 7. It's pretty standard.
User was moved to your channel.
I would say 7v7 is a good format.
Yeah.
I like it more than 15v15, for example. But like you can play 7v7 with lots of different variants, with like 68 tier points, 66 tier points to add more variety.
Yeah, it
Personally,
certainly
I
changes
prefer
the whole dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah, I personally prefer with 68 tier points, so you have to use 1 tier 8 or tier 9s in every game.
Oh, I used to play that years ago. I used to have, I played the Cromwell and everybody else was implementing tier 8s, and that caused some interesting things for me. Or was that at tier 10? I can't remember now. It was ages ago, back in my old clan. So who have we got in with us today? We've got Luca and we've got Senun the bot.
Yeah, that's it.
So you're a bot.
For
Well,
sure.
You've probably got the most incredible AI to be a bot, I reckon. So, how are you feeling about the league? How are you feeling about the format? You excited?
Yeah. I like the format 7v7 and play without reward tanks. That's gonna be improve a lot the
Yeah.
league.
Excellent, and no EBRs as well. We've got to remember that.
Yeah.
Inclusion there. That was one of the things that the community really insisted on. And I think it's great that we were able to incorporate that into this league off of the back of guys like yours feedback. So I think that's what makes this league unique. Hopefully you would agree.
Yes,
I totally agree.
Luca, can you just tell your players quickly that the training room is open, so your guys can join it?
Yeah.
Training room's open, so we're going to start getting the players filtered in and ready for the first map.
Sunday, you need to move people in.
Right, so guys, I won't take too much more of your time. I'm glad to see that you're here. You're here on time and prompt, and you're ready to go. All the best with the game. And I shall bid you farewell.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I hope we have great games.
Yeah. Good luck, Luca.
Good luck to you too.
And see you in the battle.
Yeah, see ya.
And guys, if you could just move up to your room.
User left your channel.
Alrighty.
User left your channel.
So as the moderator is getting everybody ready, Banter, how are you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling fine. Went for a walk today in the Peak District, so I was all right. Feeling a bit tired. I had some internet problems a little bit earlier, so but I should be ready to go. Just feeling a bit tired. Took a nap. It was a very regrettable decision, but I'll live with it. It'll be all right.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
We got
What's the wind
Germans
been
with-
like down there? Because up here in the north of Scotland, it's been absolutely howling.
It wasn't that bad today. Actually, it was cold but sunny, so it was actually wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad. It was quite nice.
Okay, we're just getting the teams ready, and Banter is sorting. Are you going to be sorting that out today, or is it Xander that's doing that?
It's Xander at the moment. Is there any way to hand over a training room? I mean, I can do it. Xander's busy with other stuff because I was dealing with it yesterday. I need to join the. I've joined the Discord room. Xander, you can now communicate with me.
No, we'll let Xander do the first one, as he's already started it, and we don't want to be late.
You need to start putting people in, Xander. No, like if you just open the room and tell them to join, they can join it, and you can just drag them. That's what I did yesterday.
Okay, so Banter, obviously I was not casting yesterday. I was playing with my team and getting absolutely destroyed on the fields of glory by just about everybody. You were casting yesterday.
Yeah.
How did you find that, buddy?
I mean, the games yesterday were pretty good. We saw who did we see? My lasting regret. I can't remember the first game. The second game was Excel versus Tens. That was a very nice game actually. Some very high skill games were played yesterday, which was quite nice. Today we got HAPPS versus MR3D. So the Germans versus where are HAPPS from? Where are they from?
Happy Noobs. I'm not sure where they're from. I'd have to double check on their clan. They're Portuguese and Spanish mix, are they?
I mean, it's the same thing, isn't it? Really, they all speak Mexican, so it's fine.
I wouldn't want to say that on a.
No, I like saying it because it annoys Xander. You speak Brazilian in Portugal, don't you, Xander? That's true. That's what I've heard.
Xander's going to start rage slapping the keyboard in a moment, typing out Banter's name repeatedly.
You need to, Xander, try and because obviously both teams are 15. They need to decide. I'll type it.
So I watched a little bit of the stream yesterday in between my games, and the skill level was incredibly high. I'm very proud of all the teams for doing such a great job. Oh, I've been put in for some reason.
Oh yeah, you can be a spectator, but we need to find out. Do we know the maps that both of these teams have chosen? I'll find that out.
Have a look at what everybody is saying. There are people saying steps in the training.
Yep, I'm just asking HAPPS what side they want.
Excellent.
They'll choose defense naturally, but just want to make sure. I'm trying to find the in the WoTi League website for the groups and stuff.
Okie dokie.
So Xander, just remember you need to put White Storm in as well because he needs to see the game.
So
MR3D picks steps, but we're still waiting for HAPPS to reply. Rubus needs to be put in for HAPPS. Well, but
so as the stream can see, there's quite a lot of organization that goes into this coordinating more than 14 players, because obviously some of the teams will have reserve players ready or they'll have different picks. So it's quite a feat to get all of these people from all over the place to coordinate, and that's some of the qualities of being a clan commander, is getting your guys in the right place at the right time. And that directly correlates to what happens on the actual map when you're fighting. You need to get your players in the right place at the right time. Always very, very tricky.
All right, so HAPPS have chosen defense first on steps. The tiebreaker, I believe, is Sand River. Was that chosen for today?
Yes, it was chosen for today. That's going to be an interesting map for doing a tiebreak if we get that far.
At the moment, I don't know. I asked HAPPS what side they wanted. Those chose defense. One second. So the Ruby needs to go out and Rubus needs to go in, Xander. The Ruby Sindstorm EZ is on the HAPPS side.
In team 2.
I definitely need to make the training for next one. I have more experience. Yes,
correct,
he is
yep.
down and Rubus is up. Yes. Fine,
Okay.
there we go. They have 7 players. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And they have 7 players. We need HAPPS to choose that map. What is the damn it. I'm gonna ask what's the password for this room, but I probably shouldn't say it out loud.
Say it out loud.
HAPPS
So-
are not choosing a map, which is concerned. Oh, they said sec. All right, fine. So they're just choosing.
So steps, what do you expect to see on steps, Banter? What kind of tanks are we expecting to see?
But I7s, 113s, S-Conks, maybe a CS or a Bat Shadow 2. It's a very hold down intensive map. It's quite a nice map, but it's very defensive. I'm quite actually, from my memory, Steps is not even in the map pool. Oh, I want to cry. Whatever, we play Steps. Yeah, they are. Xander. They're both with the right number of people. The thing is, like, Steps is not in the map selection.
No, but it's going to be interesting to see what strats people come out with. It could be quite a static game, and then all of a sudden there's a big amount of happenings that happen all of a sudden, and then it's about who is left on the team.
I've just told them they can't play Steps. Like, it's in the rules. Steps is not in the rules.
It's not in the rules. Have they picked it?
Why did it get
Ah.
approved? Thunder, did you approve this? They're saying you did.
Yeah, it's not in the map selection, so we're gonna have to change that, I believe. But I didn't see steps, in all honesty. Right. Well, I think that it's clearly, if it's not in the rules, then they can't play it, so they just have to pick another one. They're welcome to go and check the WoTi League PDF download of the rulebook.
Well, at the moment, they're saying
Doesn't matter. Okay.
no. They put it in. They put it in their the first thing, and I think Xander put a plus to it. Yeah, white check mark Xander. So you basically ticked it without checking the rules, Xander. Fine, we play Steps.
No, because the other team obviously would have reasons to dispute that.
Well, I mean, Xander's
So-
approved it, and they've already prepared. So, and HAPPS are not putting any complaints in. So we just play Steps. It's fine. Right, I've asked HAPPS if they want to play Steps.
Okay, so getting back to steps, if it is the game that we choose to play, that they choose to play, should I correct myself? Yeah, very static game at the beginning potentially, and then it could be all over in a flash. What do you say, Banter?
I wouldn't really say so. I think Steps is a very passive map. We're going to see a lot of long time on Steps. Like, Steps is a map where people tend to just sit passive and very defensive. So, all right, they've approved Steps, so we can get ready to go. Right.
Excellent. Yeah, like I said, it can be very static, and then it could be all over in a flash. That basically is my opinion, because people make a decisive play down the right or down the left, the 1-2 or the 9-0, whatever it may be. And then if the other team have already done a 50-50 push or rotated round, all of a sudden they can find themselves massively far away from each other and have to react. Be interesting to see how they play this.
All right.
Okay, the teams are about to remove their spectator status. I'm going to see for the first time the tanks that everybody has picked. Okay, good mix there. On the left-hand side, we've got a couple of VZ55s.
Yep,
some
ready to go. Go, Xander.
2 Conquerors, a Kramvan, an IS-7, and a Batchat 25-ton. On the right-hand side here, we've got VZ IS-7,
Xander, go.
25T, another IS-7, S-Conk, STB-1, and a Conqueror. That's interesting.
Like, we should talk
Okay.
about the lineup, by the way, when we're actually in the game, because now we have a 30-second countdown where we don't say anything.
Absolutely. Talk about it.
Yeah, but
So-
MR3D on the defensive here, I7, Kran, double S Con, double VZ. It's quite. It's more of a defensive lineup. They could actually quite easily make a trap in the E0 corner with the double VZ and the Kran batches for rotation. HAPPS, double I7, double S Conk, VZ, batch at STB. Interesting lineup, but definitely their lineup kind of screams that they're going to play zero line. It's a little bit of an obvious lineup, but we'll see definitely what they want to do with it. White Storm, just for your benefit, if you click caps lock and F3, you can fly, and if you click P, it goes into a kind of cinematic view.
Yep, I've got it, buddy.
Looking at the beginning, pretty normal defense coming out here from MR3D. Batcha going and taking the initial bush, new era JS in the IS-7 going and taking the hull down there. And as I predicted, the rest of the team of HAPPS are going to take this kind of zero line. Clay Nevado going and taking the mid bush just for early info, and he might get outspotted by Iron 4, but it's quite unlikely as they're both playing in bushes.
I'm quite surprised by the fact that they're not committing all of their forces down one area and going in together. They are kind of doing this split here, leaving the IS-7 in A4 position and a Conqueror.
Well, they are on the defense
A7.
and they're just making a crossfire, but it's exactly as I said in the beginning. The thing is, like, I can read these lineups like butter. I'm not even gonna lie. The Kranwagen is making the trap for the double VZs. If they push onto the IS-7, they've got a double VZ to match with. The IS-7 and the S-Conk in the back on A7. He's covering the S-Conk on C8. The IS-7 is just watching in case they do a one-cap play, but they're not at the moment. And the BAT is just for general rotation. But it's a very nice setup at the moment. Initial damage has been taken already. The STB has taken a shot. IS-7 has taken a shot. We need to see if this trap of MR3D is going to work out, because it's quite risky at the moment for the Portuguese team here. Portuguese, Spanish. It's all the same, really.
What I'm seeing here is I'm seeing Bad Dog is actually somewhat isolated. They've created a crossfire with him behind them, and he's doing a great job of getting in some decent damage, taking down a kill of the Kranvan with his Kranvan against the team there. Let's have a look, see what's going on. I'm just trying to move my camera ever so slightly. So it feels like they're pushing him one at a time. You get that position whilst the rest of the team rotate and react.
HAPPS have not seen this trap at all. They've just walked headfirst into it. Slayer, the 8th, has been absolutely taken down. Now it's just a crossfire, but the mistakes are coming out here from MR3D. Without a doubt, going behind this rock just basically kills him. So he is going to go down completely for free. And I don't know, some mistakes coming out here, some quite bad mistakes actually. Yeah, the game is still ongoing. The STB is now retreating because he was getting clipped in the side by the Batchat, and they have to make some kind of decisive push. At the moment, HAPPS are just bleeding heavily, and they're taking more and more damage to this Kranwagen of 1 HP Bad Dog. He's not even, to be quite honest, not even playing well. He's just being given damage here, but Clay Nevado pushing in here. 500 gets eliminated almost immediately by these double VZs. Absolutely destroyed, but now the decisive play by HAPPS needs to come in. The VZs are on reload here. Without a doubt goes down, but Bad Dog is still alive in the backline. Picks up Sound. The bot will probably clip out Rubus in the meantime, and the HP is just going down and down. Minus 6k for HAPPS at the moment. This game is done and dusted here.
Just looking down at the Batchat 25-ton coming all the way around the map and getting behind the STB-1 now, with the IS-7 punching through, and that is pretty much the Batchat destroyed. The Batchat has destroyed, the STB-1, and then that is the rest of the surround happening. S-Conk is destroyed. Last tank in the game is the IS-7. And there we go, 11 hit points remaining, and there you are. Well played. So that was not a difficult game I was a bit concerned that they were going to basically have left they had the IS-7 at the very top in A4, and I was a little bit concerned that the other team would push in force, but because they stopped and basically went one at a time, they were able to redirect their guns, and get a good arc of fire down the 9 line.
Xander change sides. I mean, it was a pretty standard trap by MR3D. I mean, there was nothing really special about this tactic. It's been played before. It's a good hold. It's effective, and like you can deal with it effectively if you know it. But the thing is, HAPPS seemed just a little bit clueless here. And you can kind of see it in the damage. They stayed still. They just didn't really move. They allowed 1 HP Bad Dog to get so much free damage out. He did 4.4k damage and 2 kills, 15, 15, 10. It's not the greatest pen rate, but it doesn't even need to be. Just because
Absolutely.
he's in such a strong position.
Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to have seen was it the HAPPS team? I'd love to have seen them moving in and being aggressive and just get straight in there and basically stopping that trap from developing whilst the
Well, I mean,
MRED
it's kind of
basically
like being
came in.
caught in a spider's web. You take the initial damage and then you kind of freeze. Unless a decisive play comes out immediately, it's really difficult to counter. And a decisive play just didn't come out. And if you look at the damages, 4.4 by Bad Dog, Pay to Win, second to the VZ, 3.5. Without a doubt, VZ in the same position should really be doing more. Really quite bad pen rate, actually, 5.53, especially because he was on the outside. But the rest of the tanks, Iron 4 did 2.3. He clipped out the STB, 3 kills as well. Nice crucial contribution there with the S-Conk on 2.9. For the HAPPS team, it tells a very different picture. IS-7 on 1.9, Rubus on 1300, Gypsy on 2.8, and it just kind of goes down and down from there. They're really going to need to rethink this, but bear in mind, it is Steps attack. It's not, Steps attack is one of the hardest attacks, so now they're on the defense, and we'll see what they want to do with it.
Absolutely, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, will they learn from that mistake? Will they make a more decisive pressure next time, or are they going to play much more passively? Obviously, the roles are flipped this time in the next match going forward, so it'll be very interesting to see what they've prepared. Okay, so not long until we start on the next map, on the next issue of this map with the roles reversed. Have they changed any players, Banter, or are they keeping the same ones in?
Looks like they're keeping the same ones in. No player changes at the moment. Sander will be looking out for that. So, 1 second. I'm just speaking with one of the players at the moment.
Okay, no problem. Look and see what's been said. So, Batch at 25T didn't cause any damage for HAPPS in the last match. So I wonder if he might make a little adjustment.
You saw what happened to him. He went in for the push, but got absolutely obliterated. Double VZs. It's no joke. The amount of burst output they can do.
Best part of 1,000 damage each. So yeah, absolutely destroyed. No problem at all. Yeah, and obviously that's a paper tank.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not even about armor. I mean, he was showing his ass because he was going for the Vatcha, but at that point, it was kind of too late already. They bled too much already, so... But,
okay, it looks like both teams are saying that they're ready now.
All right, then let's get ready into the next... No, only one team is saying they're ready.
My apologies,
MR3D.
one team.
Yeah, MR3D
there we go.
haven't...
Second team are ready.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Okay, the countdown has begun. There we go. And I think, yes, there will be some changes.
Give one moment. Don't start yet. All right, you can start now, Xander.
Have a quick look and see which the teams have changed. So we've got 2 bat chats. Oh, I'm getting feedback here.
Yeah, it's double bat chat, double VZ, IS-7, 113, and E100. Interesting lineup here. I've seen it before. I know what they're going to do. They're going to play over the 1 cap with D100 staying in the south as a kind of a blocker, so they can't make a rotation and decap the 1 cap. They're going to try and take the A4 position. They're going to try and get one of the bat chats on the cap, and E100 is going to cover the flank. For HAPPS, it's a much more static defense. No VZ, only 1 VZ coming out, actually. Triple S-Conk, Kramwagen, and a CS. So... yeah, we need to see what they want to do with this one on defense.
Okay, so MRED initially making inroads down the left-hand side as I look at it, which is down the 9-0 line. And it looks like HAPPS are moving down the 1-2 line. So Interesting first position. The CS63 doesn't really use its speed, but it does go up into the A3 position.
Yeah, you need to be very careful there, Zorna, because if the IS-7 at one point will go through the mid towards the D4 position, and these batches can create crossfire in it, but it is exactly as I said, they are going to play over this 2-cap. The E100, it's going to be a rotation counter, because the thing is, the CS might rotate to the south to try and get decap angles, and this E100 is just going to block it, because there's too much HP and too much armor for that CS to deal with on close range.
Definitely. The interesting thing I'm seeing here is obviously with the E100, maneuverability is going to be an issue. IS-7 is quicker, significantly quicker than E100, but they're leaving a significant chunk of their hit points out of the game by leaving him all the way back there.
I mean, the E100 there is literally only a... it's designed to counter the rotations of HAPPS. That's its only job. The IS-7 will go through the mid and stay on the A4 position. As you can see now, the 113 is pushing towards the A4 position. Sorna makes it out with a whisker of his life there, down to 600. But that CSHP, not that important. Pay to win biscuit takes 1 in return, but definitely a good trade at the moment for MR3D. This cap is about to be started, as I predicted. They're getting both of the tanks there. And the thing is as well, the only way you can decap this is if you cross one of their tanks over towards C6 and C5. And the moment they do that, he's going to be in complete crossfire by the E100s. That's the strength of the C100. But the problem is that the moment you see it in the lineup, you should be able to predict it. Iron Noob does get spotted in the cap, however, goes down to 1061. So very lucky for him to even still be alive, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and the CS63 is making its way down the south of the map. They're not continuing the cap, but the E100 might actually get to do that. Nope, the CS63 decides to fall back because he's probably not got enough hit points to... He probably knows about that guy sitting there, but hasn't spotted him.
But as you can see here, the play
making the play now.
Yeah, they are making the play here, but this is what I said. They're doing it too early. They're doing it with 2 tanks instead of 1, and this is going to allow the E100
in position to crossfire.
He will be shortly. I mean, the point is that it's a 10-minute game mode. They're pushing forward when they don't need to because there's no cap pressure. And now they are in crossfire. Bad Dog is clipping the Kranwagen from the side. Slayer is trying to stay in the bushes. The E100 will start getting side shots onto this Kranwagen and BZ, and HAPPS are going to need to make some kind of play here, otherwise they're going to lose the map control. It looks like the CS
is actually firing at the E100 and trying to restrict him from making that crossfire. So they are wise to it, and maybe he's wise to it. And the E100 looks like he is actually having to focus a little bit on the CS.
But the problem is Sauna did take a shot then. He's down to 124 HP. He's not going to be able to counter the C100. So the E100 is just going to be pumping shot after shot into Clay, Nevado, and
he's
Slayer's
got the hit
side
points to
here.
Tank it if he needed to as well, because that CS63, whilst it's a good all-rounder, it's not the best tank sniper. It's not got the best camo.
In the meantime here, though, the repush is coming in by the double S-Conks onto the 113 and the VZ55 of Pay to Win and New Era Sands, but they're not going up and over. They're staying and playing the peaking game, which is meaning, without a doubt, is being able to put shots and shot after shot into our trap side, down to 900. They're focusing out New Era Sand, but the HP bleed is significant here for the side of HAPPS.
Yep, and the 113 slams in another one, bounces, and then all of a sudden, that's him gone down. We're down to 1 tank in the north there.
But he does still win that engagement over raw DPM, though. If Gypsy does take out New Era Sam, Pay to Win doesn't have the clip potential to deal with Gypsy here.
But as we said earlier, only 1,000 clip potential.
Iron Forb is coming in here for some backline snipes, however, to maybe finish him off. But Gypsy is using this corpse very effectively. We'll need to see if he does have the DPM. In the meantime, the repush in the south is coming out. The Crown is going on to 1 HP Bad Dog. We'll need to see how that engagement happens. But in the meantime, Slayer does go down.
The IS-7 there in the middle. Was that an IS-7?
No, it was a VZ55.
Was taken down by the IS-7. My apologies. So that push is now completely evaporated. And I think that is the end.
Not necessarily. There are opportunities, but the HP, they're 2K, no, they're 3K down at the moment. 3 tanks down as well. The Kranwagen did make a decisive play in the south, clipped out 1 HP Bad Dog down to 100 HP.
As they now pressurize the cap. They need to just simply play for time if they want to make sure.
Because they can't play for time. 5 minutes left.
Oh,
that's the thing about this this kind of, in WoT7 it's an 8-minute timer, but with this being a 10-minute timer, it's a lot of time to mull things over and think. That's the big thing about this kind of tournament rules here. 8-minute timer, it's a lot of time to mull over what you want to do.
cap time
Oh,
was
cap
over.
time, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Her last hurrah there for the Kranvan as he uses all of his magazine and is finally extinguished by the VZ55. Alrighty, let's get back to the studio. So that was a cracking set of games there, Banter. Absolutely good to see, good competition. That one was significantly better than the last game, I would suggest. The competition much closer.
Yeah, but I mean, you can kind of see MR3D are the stronger team here. I know for a fact that Luca, one of the field commanders, has done quite a lot of training. So you can kind of see it. They're doing the strats that you see on the top level, and you can see it's paying off. I mean, winning steps attack is no easy feat, but I believe HAPPS kind of gave up a lot of positions and kind of fed into their tactic. You can see if you have a look at the end game damages, without a doubt, pay to win on these VCs. It shows how strong they are. 3.8k damage apiece. 2 kills for without doubt, 1 kill for pay to win. Bad Dog getting 2 kills as well there. It's solid. Only New Era doing no damage, actually, connecting no shots into these S-Conks when they got pushed. So that's not the best, but I mean, it's a solid performance all round. And we'll be going into the next game of Cliff here with HAPPS on the defensive. So it was quite a nice set of games, but now we're on match point. MR3D up 2-0 against HAPPS here, so we'll need to see if HAPPS can pull something out on their Cliff defense.
Yep, and you know what? Actually, I'd say it's probably understandable why they might not be super versed in how to successfully take on a steps match. As you rightly said, it's not in the
Rule set.
rotation normally, and it's also not in our rules. The teams have agreed this beforehand. Although I think we might have to address this in the future, that if it's not in the rule book, they shouldn't really be playing it. That is just a mistake this time. I think we need to be clearer on that in the future, and that's certainly somewhere we can improve on.
No teams have requested changes, so hopefully we will be starting shortly. The teams are just picking their tanks at the moment. Shall we... no, the sides of the teams are fine, Xander. We're all fine on the team side here. So we are ready to go. Well, not ready to go, but hopefully the teams will be ready shortly.
So the next battle is going to be Cliff for the next 10 minutes. And what kind of strats do you expect to see from this one, Banter?
Well, I mean, MR3D, as we've seen, they've done their homework. So we could see a boost up the hill. We saw yesterday Tents doing a hill boost, double CS boosting the Kranwagen. So... yeah.
Very powerful position, especially overlooking the 2 cap. If they can manage to get that in, it's quite a tricky maneuver. I've lost all audio, it would appear. Also, the other plays that they can make where they can just run straight down the one line, although I'm not sure I would particularly be fond of doing that. Banter, have I still got you? Yep,
yeah,
I've got
you still got me, of course. I'm just trying to deal with crying players at the moment, but yeah, I think we're going to see a pretty standard defense from HAPPS. I don't feel like they've done their homework as much as MR3D do. I feel like MR3D, they might play a little bit in the mid and they'll try and take the donut. We'll need to see if they want to do some kind of hill counter and counter HAPPS going up the hill, but looks like we've actually had a disconnect by Rubus. Looked like he alt F4'd his game. Unlucky
no.
there.
Well, let's
maybe they can get Beast to replace him, of those we might wait for him to come back. So
yeah. Yep, one of the many technical difficulties of having players obviously not in an arena this year. Maybe that could be the future, we don't know. But in the meantime, taking the donut, super important, getting those crossfires across the map by the attacking team, maybe looking at where people are defending from the mid-ridge there. That boost that you're talking about and getting a... Did you say you were thinking about getting a Kranvan actually onto the first area of the hill?
Well, I mean, that's what Tens did yesterday. I don't think we'll be seeing that again. Kranvan is very strong, but it's got some issues. They can maybe boost a CS or a Batchat up there. So we'll need to see
Certainly in my game yesterday for RGN Chieftains, I managed to get up high on that hill with my Object 140. Probably an unconventional tank for these tactics, but I managed to do 4,000 damage from up there, just stopping them from capping out in the 2 line.
Big
on
damage
the
found
2
there.
cap.
Yeah, but you went
Exactly.
up on the defensive side, didn't you? With the 140.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah,
So
the boost, there's no boost from the defensive side, only the attacking side.
I managed to sneak all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
sneaky.
140 can be very strong on the hill. A lot of DPM, a lot of good hold down potential, but I'll still stick with my 907.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, I still lost our game. Unfortunately, Cave sent much the better team than my team
Oh,
in
you
that
couldn't
particular round.
carry it out.
Unfortunately, not. No.
As long as you give it your all, it's fine.
We certainly played. We gave it our all. Absolutely. So, all right. How are the teams playing? It looks like they're all back in. Are we ready to start?
Yeah, both teams are ready. So
Iron Frube ready to go. That's it. The countdown has begun.
and both teams are ready now. Rubus.
He's pressed the wrong button.
Yeah,
But
but it's
as,
also
I'm
you're not
gonna
allowed to do that.
As I'm going to explain to the chat right now, obviously we're all adults here within reason.
Right, go.
People are not going to be changing their tanks as soon as they've revealed them.
Lander, let's go. Yeah, he's on his own team. Yeah, go.
Start the battle. Okay, so this is match point effectively. So I'd be interested to see how this plays out. If they're going to be aggressive and go for it, or whether they're going to sit back, defend, or be more negative, should I say correctly? It would be interesting to see how they play this. Right.
I mean, looking at the lineups here, MR3D with the double CS Batchat, VZ55, 277, and a Kramwagen for the mid. It looks like they might try and boost the Batchat up here. They also have a strat where they send both the CSs to the mid and the Batchat to the mid to clip out tanks going up the hill in the beginning. So we'll need to see if they want to do that one. For HAPPS, going for the SGRV in the backline, double CS, VZ55, S-Conk, and Kramwagen. SGRV is an interesting choice. It's an old choice. Used to see SGRV back in the day, but it's fallen out of favor a little bit here. But
you talk about
see what they want to do with it.
Sitting the SGRV up high?
Yeah, on A5 up there. That's where he'll go. It's the only real position you can put an SGRV because of this lightning accurate gun here. But
you just blind that, surely.
Well, I mean, SGRV, as with the overmatch rules in World of Tanks, it can only get overmatched by a tank that has 120 millimeters plus. So more than 120 millimeters. If you have 120, as in a chieftain, you can't overmatch it. So it's very difficult here. Only the VZ55, Kramwagen. No, Kramwagen actually can't. Only the VZ55 and the 277 could pen it frontally here, but.
Yeah.
Looking in the beginning, looks like a different strat to what I thought. I thought they'd send the Batchat to the middle, but they in fact haven't. The VZ55 is on the lower side to try and clip out our trap there in the mid. It looks like he's given him one shot already. Iron Forb here showing us a perfect demonstration on how to fail the hill boost in a CS. He's going to try it third time's the charm here. Come on, Iron Forb, I want to see it. I want to.
It looks like from my initial idea here's they're going to looking to slug it out on the hill on the first ridge for the time being. Looks like they are slugging it out just a touch, but nobody's actually committing any real hit points into the fray at this early stage of the match.
It's without a doubt who's dealing the damage from the lower side here, but Iron Forb is failing the heal boost. It's failed it the third time there. He needs to go a little bit more to the right there. If the camera can switch to Iron Forb doing this boost, he needs to go up here on the left and then go a little bit up on the right. I've not done this boost myself, but I've watched many better players than me doing it. But yeah, Rubus in the middle here. He's trading off this Kramwagen turret. Just he's getting penned quite badly. I'm not sure by who actually. I believe it's either by New Era SFN or Lose Your Fat here. I'll do a quick close up into Rubus. I just want to see where he's being penned. If it's in the top of the turret. Oh, super unlucky there actually. Rubus being penned right in the top of the turret in the top right cupola. If you look at the Kramwagen, that's very unlucky.
It's looking like HAPPS are beginning to make a push down the one line with the Batchat CS63 and the VZ55.
That's not HAPPS.
My apologies.
HAPPS are on defense.
Just the colors are the other way bloody round for me. Excuse my French. So yeah, it looks like they're actually going to make a play and try and get a crossfire in here. And it looks like the CS63 of Clay Nevado is going to be spotting them more than likely as they make their way into that position for a crossfire. What's your opinion on this crossfire, Banta?
User in your channel timed out.
User in my channel is timed out, not to worry. So Iron Frube is now boosting straight up the hill, and he's trying to get as high as he can. He's taking he's losing a lot of hit points for that. 1,404 hit points he's lost, but he's taken the hill. He's got less than 800 hit points remaining, but he's still got a gun and he can still shoot. Rubus is still sitting pretty there with 1,000 of his hit points, 1,100 sitting. And we've got the STRV sitting at the back. Super Conqueror needs to start moving forward and considering his options, but he doesn't want to go to a position where he's going to have to cross in front of all of those tanks there in the middle at E3. Do we have a banter back yet? Here we don't. Okay, so quite a static game at the moment. It'll be nice to see somebody making a pressure, but obviously the defensive team don't need to make a pressure. They just need to hold. So the Batchats and the CS63 have begun to look for other options now, leaving the VZ55 back where he is on that donut. So the two mediums are going to go around. They're going to see what they can do. Maybe the STRV will spot them, but certainly the Superconk will spot them if they get rounds too far. But currently we're looking at a 2-0 situation. We'll be interested to see what happens here. The CS63 is going in all the way deep into the A2 position, and we've got a counterplay by Arturup, I think you call his name, and he's looks like he's, I'm not sure if he's aware of the CS63. We've certainly moved around and he's getting shot at, so he'll understand that somebody is in fact in this area, possibly down the one line, and he might start to look to get people moving towards it, as the Super Conqueror is also looking in that direction to make sure that he can help out as well. CSC3 takes out CS63, destroying Clay Nevado, unfortunately. The VZ55 begins to get into an area where he can put a potential crossfire into where the Kramvan is sitting. That's Rubus, the bot. Be interesting to see if he's able to exploit it. Meanwhile, from the top of the hill, the CS63 is in fact shooting down onto the Superconk. Not really dropping any of his hit points, and the Superconk has decided to abandon that position and move down because he doesn't want to lose his hit points at this stage of the game. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, and the VZ55 begins to make a play. It seems like they're pushing on all fronts at the moment with 1,500 hit point deficit in total between these two teams. Okay, the CS63 at the far top there in A1, A2. Still trying to gather information, but unfortunately for him, he's down to 468 hit points. So it'll be interesting to see how much he can really do, because he doesn't want to take his gun out of the game. Looks like it's just a pressure across all areas, really. And I'm surprised, because I would prefer, in my mind, to be a more focused team and go down one way or the other, but pressure on all sides can work. Okay, let's have a look down here, see what the Super Conqueror are doing. So, Bot is in a very nice hold down position against the VZ55, protecting the cap there at point 2, and he's not going anywhere. He doesn't need to go anywhere, he can hold that all day, but there is the pressure from the CS63 on the top of the hill. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to cause any damage, whilst meanwhile, the other Super Conqueror has moved
to your
all
channel.
the way down the map and is beginning to look to exploit. He has, you know what? If he's not careful, he's going to end up in a crossfire between the CS63 and the Batchet 25T or the VZ55, but they're pulling back. They're not quite happy about that. Who's just moved into the channel? Is that Banter? Have you returned? He's still connecting. Understood. Okie dokie. So in the meantime, still a very static game. We're still sitting on, it's actually increased ever so slightly to just short of 2,000 hit points deficit between these two teams. And with 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, somebody has got to make a pressure if they want to take this game by the scruff of the neck. What are your opinions, Banter?
I mean, I'm quite surprised looking at the positions. Gypsy's on the lower side. I don't know how Clinavano went down, actually. Very interesting. Maybe a crossfire from the hill there, but you can kind of see the pressures coming out here now. Neuro JS is out trading Rubus quite badly, but right now I believe like HAPPS' only real play is to kind of cling on for time, because right now the final rotations are being made here. 1 HP Bad Dog is meeting up with Pay to Win Biscuit. They're going to probably jump onto Senas the bot. Our Trap finishes off New Era SFN there. So it's actually looking pretty good for HAPPS to win this one at the moment.
And it looks like there's a pressure being made down the 9 line with the VZ55 and the Batchet 25T. Maybe a last-ditch effort to take out probably the only tank in this game that's got it's near enough its maximum hit points, which is the Super Conqueror.
Oh, they're trying to isolate Rubus in the back there, but now that Rubus is safe, they're going on to Sauna. But 1 HP Bad Dog takes heavy damage here, and with that amount of damage being taken, this should be the end of the game here. I don't believe that MR3D have the steam to bring this one back here. So
As
much
the
HP being
STRV
lost.
is still managing to slam in shots and protect Rubus from the far back of the map.
And now NeuroJS is having to go into the open. I believe he's kind of given up. He's given the surrender symbol, gun in the air. They don't have the time for this. 4k HP minus, and looks like HAPPS will bring one back onto the board. There's still a journey to go if they want to get the match point, the tiebreaker, but winning their cliff defense is very, very nice.
Indeed, and there we go. That is the last. That's the 277 that has been destroyed now, and we've only got a few more hit points remaining with less than a minute on the clock, and they can all just swarm them and take them out. We've got the guy sitting pretty on the top of the hill, and that is pretty much it. 412 hit points left to play. Let's see. Can the CS63 in 40 seconds destroy an entire team? It's highly unlikely, but it would be hilarious. If I was him, I would do a swan dive off the top. Looks like he is actually going to fight till the end. Rufus Debot going in there and taking 374.
You know, you got to pad your DPGs here. Iron Forb, he's kind of baiting him. He wants to peek at 20 seconds ago. He does, but Rubus is a bit quicker on the draw there.
Oh, you know, at that point, we've all been in that when you're last on the team and you think, I can do this, I can do this. And then you look at the clock and you go, I can't do this. How am I going to just make the best of this?
Only it's not the clock, only it's the hit points remaining. That's
all about those.
That tells me I
points.
can't do this, but
yeah. 6 and 2 threes. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. So a bit of a whitewash, unfortunately.
I mean, not necessarily. I wasn't in the game, but looking at it, it was kind of MR3D were a bit out of time. They did make a play, but I think even with this 10-minute mode, you can get carried. You can get carried away with you trying to use that time to bleed. I mean, they got the initial bleed onto the cram bag in the middle. They just didn't use it at all.
Yeah, it felt like to me that they got to a place where they were both comfortable, where they could look each other across the valley, and then they didn't quite make a decision. They didn't commit to one single play. They were quite content to just sit, and they kind of made half a push down the bottom, and then they thought, no, I'll come back. They never quite committed. They never made a serious play to succeed and make the win. It's like they were too scared to lose. That was my overall opinion of this particular. So let's have a look and see how it goes when the roles are switched.
Well, I mean, having a look at the damages here, Iron Forb 3.2 for MR3D. The rest of the team doing reasonable. I mean, it's 2.5, 2k, some kills being made. 1 HP Bad Dog. He saved his HP for the late game, but it made no difference. Did he even get out a shot, I wonder? Oh, got out a full clip, connected none of them, so that's not the best one there. But looking at the HAPPS team, STRV doing 2.4. STRV still showing it's still a very good sniper there. Slayer on 3.4. And the rest of the team is a nice damage split. Only Clay Nirvana not really getting out as much damage as he really should have there. Sauna as well, 2.3k damage coming out there, but 2 kills, crucially. The kills are very, very important in this one. Dan, it looks like we've got some changes here. Ed Wolf needs to go in. Lucy, Lose Your Sweat needs to go out. And for HAPPS, they would like to get rid of Gypsy and get in Beast. The Beast from the East. So
Beast from the East, indeed. Of course, to our Eastern friends, that is just us Brits referring to a storm that happened a couple of years ago.
No, they always do it's either we call it Beast from the East or we give it a female name. So,
indeed.
HAPPS is Gypsy, Muto Gypsy goes out and Beast goes in.
Okay, great stuff.
Right.
But obviously, these players, when they're switching in and about, it's because these are all normal players, and they might not have every single tank in the battle, and all of these teams have developed their own strategies for this game. So somebody might be working specifically on their role with a Kranvan, whilst the other guy has been specifically working on his role with a VZ55 or something like that. For example,
it might not only be the tanks; it might be the positions. Bear in mind here, things with boosting as well. Like you saw in the previous game,
that really
like
cost
Iron
them.
Wolf was boosting, and the player Beast, what's his name there? Beast, the worst bot. He might know how to boost. You never know. So you have players for specialist positions when they train.
Absolutely.
It, so.
Yeah, specialist positions, specialist tanks. You don't know what's been going on behind closed doors and how they've been talking about how they're going to tackle each of these maps. But that boost, certainly, if they could have gotten that boost pulled off, imagine what would have happened if he'd have managed to take that hill and rain down damage upon, for instance, that super conch sitting pretty in the middle of the ridge there.
Well, I mean,
or maybe
that's an oversimplified version. If he peeks from the hill, he gets shot by the SGRV. So taking the hill a little bit late wasn't the problem. I mean, I wasn't in the game, but I could kind of read the game.
Yeah.
As I was watching, as I returned, I could kind of piece together what happened. They pushed the lower side, but I don't really think the hill was the crucial part here. Yeah, it
No,
looks like
but the information they could have gained from it would have been interesting.
True, but I feel like they had all the information they kind of needed. They knew the crown was in the middle. They knew the CS was behind the rock. They knew the SGRV would be in the back. I mean, they didn't gain a massive amount of information under the skull. But the hill position is always important, but only really with one tank.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's move into the next iteration of this lineup here. Okay.
Yeah. Looking at the lineups here, MR3D on defense, triple CS, one backshot, double VZ, and a Kranvagen. It's a very aggressive lineup. They might try and play the mid pretty aggro. For HAPPS, 50B, Kranvagen, double 277, VZ, and double CS. 50B is an interesting choice. He'll probably be on the lower side to clip any MR3D tanks that want to go up on the hill. Apart from that, I think 50 is quite useless. It's quite a specialist tank, so you can kind of predict what they're going to do with it. But
it's quite an old tank as well. It's going to be interesting because it does have the bit of the damage it can put out in the right circumstance, but to me that feels like a very circumstantial tank. We're talking now as well 770 hit points deficit between the two teams. Is that going to make a difference?
No, probably not. I mean, HAPPS have the heavier lineup, but bear in mind they're on attack. That HP always gets neutralized when they push because they always take the shots first. So yeah, looking here, CS going behind the rock, double CS going up the hill. 50B is clipping for the lower side, so we'll need to see how many shots that 50B can connect here. Shots on the move
CS
coming out
gets
there.
shot onto Artur up.
Yeah, 1 HP, but he's going to have to drop because 1 HP
Whoa,
Bad Dog was
down
clipping
to
him out from the
310.
side. And he took shots from the CS there, so heavy damage being taken out here in the beginning. But the 50B is clipping from the lower side here. The 277s on the right could probably peak. They gave 1 to without a doubt there. Slayer taking a little bit of damage as well as he tries to get angles. Player Vano has some shots as well, but Iron Forb is making up this hill cheap though.
Beast the worst
takes 1
down
shot
there.
there.
The 277 has managed to force the CS63 off the hill, spotting them ready for that crossfire. And the CS63 is having to relocate all around the map, effectively out of the game for the time being.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that bad at the moment. I think losing that position on D4 is quite detrimental because it now means HAPPS have a free lower side, but they don't have the hill. They have no real metric is probably the wrong word, but they have no way to take the hill. So right now, because MR3D don't have the lower side control, they're going to need to rotate 1 tank around the hill. They're doing that with the Batchat now to probably clip out Churap at the moment, or maybe get some shots onto Rufus.
Move
but
the gun
a
from
play
the game.
needs to,
Absolutely.
a play definitely needs to come out here by HAPPS. They need to either make some kind of lower side push, or they need to do something at the moment because...
So do you think the AMX 50B is literally there to stop the Hotel 9 position? Or is he simply looking at the central ridge?
He can't stop the H9 position. The 50B's job is to clip the hill in the beginning, but he didn't clip the hill very effectively, so now the 50B is kind of useless. That's why I'm not really a fan of the 50B. I feel like it's too niche. Here we see the reaction from HAPPS. It's, as I predicted, they are pushing the lower side. They did need to. I think at one point, New Era SFN is quite exposed, actually. I feel like Clay Navarro can probably just get under him. So I feel like that's quite a big mistake here, but we'll see what MR3D want to do. It looks like New Era SFN did get spotted there. It takes 1 shot from maybe the Cran in the middle of the 277s on the flank. But yeah, things are not that great for MR3D at the moment. I mean, newer SFN finally drops there, gets picked up by Beast, the worst spot there. Really big mistake there. You can't put a tank up there on that A5 position if you don't have lower side control. And that is giving us an opportunity to get back into this game.
Absolutely, and now you're looking at the AMX50B has absolutely run away from the Hotel 5 position, and we've got the back chat 25T.
Well, now the play is coming out here. The CS is crossing, but it gets set on fire there. Page to
Holy
win Biscuit
smokes.
getting set on fire, going to the K5 position. It was the play that they needed to make. It was the correct play, but this fire has absolutely crippled them at the moment. They will probably still clear this middle. Rufus will probably get eliminated from behind at some point. Our Trap probably won't escape either, but actually might. But in the meantime here, they're using their tank advantage. They're using their positional advantage. HAPPS are making this mid repush. They know they have MR3D, have tanks out of the fight there. The 50B taking the shots on the approach, but it doesn't really matter. Ed Wolf now on reload. The other VZ55 without a doubt getting over-peaked. New Era JS getting eliminated. It's all Wolf on his own, and now things are going back to worse for MR3D. The Batchat is still out of the fight here. Iron 4 doing good damage on the hill, but it's not going to be enough here. HAPPS are definitely, probably 99.99% going to take this game here. Very, very nice here by HAPPS to eliminate that CS. Well, not really nice. It was just a bad play by MR3D, keeping that CS up there on A5. And because they had that CS eliminated, they had to make a play on the K line. It was the correct play, but the fire and the amount they bled, and the fact that they had that first tank eliminated, and that these two tanks, the Batchat and the CS, out of the fight, meant that HAPPS could just make this mid over push. Very, very nice here by HAPPS. Okay. Oh, there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, there is. You need to close the room, Xander. You always need to close the room after we have all the players in. That stops people from joining. Yeah, unfortunately, someone did join the training room and put on ear rape. Luckily, I have that turned off, as every player should. You should always turn off in-game voice chat. It's absolutely horrible.
I thought I had it turned off, and that just annihilated me. That's horrendous.
Oh, was that when was that? Was that the end of the game, or
halfway through there? It felt like I couldn't hear a bumming thing.
Xander, go to settings and then change it to invite only. Yeah, I have that turned off because I don't want to hear other people.
I thought I had it turned off. I don't know why it's on.
I mean, I doubt it would have made a big difference there. But yeah, like both teams, bear in mind, both teams get absolutely ear raped there, so not the nicest. But we have Rubus offline.
Who is responsible for doing that?
Well, Xander's in charge of the room, so Xander has to. Alright, so Xander, if you can change the map to Sand River, I will have a look and see who had the fastest attack. I do believe it's MR3D on Cliff. Oh no, actually, because can you, Whitestorm, can you go to your notifications and check the first Cliff game, the Cliff attack, and just go to detailed report?
Yep, I'm on detailed report right now.
At the bottom, battle duration, how long was it?
9 minutes and 44 seconds.
No, the first Cliff, no, the first step. Sorry, not Cliff.
Oh, my bad. I was looking at Cliff. There we go. Right. Detailed report. The first one I have is 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, so that will be MR3D choosing the side on Sand River.
So anybody who could hear that through the stream, I hope you couldn't hear those noises that were coming through. Somebody was on full send there, completely distracted me, and I literally couldn't hear myself think.
I have it turned off because when you do advances stuff, some people like to join and play the ear rape because people don't have anything to do in their lives. So if you go to sound and you turn off sound, not turning off sound, but turn off in-game voice chat.
I've turned it off. Thanks, buddy. I can't believe somebody did that. That's definitely not within the realms of sportsmanship.
Well,
Was
I
that just a
mean-
random person coming in, or...
Yeah, it's a random person. The thing
Right.
is, some people they live very shallow lives where they the things they like to do in their evenings is play the ear rape soundboard on random training rooms. I mean, these people, they live their lives to the full. They will die alone, and we hope
That's-
they do die alone. So
We're going to keep it
Yeah.
professional, buddy. But yeah, never mind. Let's move on to the actual next game if we can. So yes, Sand River as the
no,
tiebreaker.
the side is fine.
So the tiebreaker is going to be Sand River. Not one I've got a lot of experience on in a competitive style.
I've got
Very
reams
different
of
from randoms.
experience.
Let's
Yeah, it's very...
tap some of that experience and just explain some of the more basic strategies that people are going to play.
Well, I mean, we'll probably, from Luca, if I know Luca, he's going to be very basic. He's going to be basic. He's a basic person. He's going to put like an IS-7 in the south. He's going to put some kind of Kranwagen or S-Conk covering the 2 cap, 1 tank in the north, some tanks covering the ridges on the 1 cap. I think he's going to do a very basic defense here. We already saw MR3D play on this map earlier in the, I think it was a few weeks ago when we did some of the, we casted some of the trainings for some of the hype games, but yeah, I think we're going to see a very basic defense coming out here by MR3D HAPPS. I think they're going to take quite a few heavies. I think we're going to see maybe a double Kranwagen, maybe even a triple VZ. I think they're going to try and go pretty autoloader, pretty heavy from the start. So need to see what they want to do here. Going to be an interesting one.
And obviously, this is quite an undulating ground. There's lots of places where you can get hull down, you can get ridge lines all over the place, and lots of ways you can sneak in behind the lines if you need to. So it's going to be interesting to see how each team play and how decisive they're going to play, or whether they're going to sit back and defend and run down the clock.
I feel like MR3D are definitely going to try and run down the clock a little bit. I think they're going to be quite passive, so
yeah,
we'll need to see what they want to do there.
Now, how much do you think the psychological element of, because this is a tie break, just making sure that you win, how much do you think that's going to affect the way and the style in which these teams play this game?
Well, I mean, I feel because HAPPS have come back from a 2-0, they've come back from a match point. I feel like they're going to be feeling pretty good. I feel like MR3D are going to be feeling pretty annoyed, but having that quick steps win, which allows them to now have the defensive side of Sand River, I think is going to be a big difference. Sand River obviously does favor the defensive, as do most maps in World of Tanks. If you'll just give me one moment, I'm just going to restart my Discord.
Absolutely. So just while you're starting this Discord, one thing that I find quite often is that this game is a very mental game, and you can quite often make mistakes because you've talked yourself out of going into a position, and that's true even for the field commanders that are tactically responsible for each of these teams' movements. They might talk themselves out, or they might rigidly stick to a movement. So this is the teams now. They're beginning to remove their spectator mode, and they're displaying their tanks. So we're just about to get ready to go into the match.
Yeah,
So,
Xander, let's go.
as I was saying, quite often, obviously, this is like a massive game of chess. Quite often, you can talk yourself out of making a push. You can question your decisions, or you can be rigid and sticking to the play. In your experience, how does that work in your teams that you've historically played in?
Well, I mean, it varies really match to match, opponent to opponent here, really. But looking here, I was correct from both teams. There's a double Kranwagen coming out. It's not triple VZ, but it is 1 VZ and 2277. So I was essentially correct. For MR3D, it is the basic bitch defense. I knew it. We knew Luca, so basic. But yeah, IS-4, IS-7, they're going to put the IS-4 in the H0 position, try and get him covered from some tanks from F0 there. They're getting the rest of the tanks in the north. Quite predictable here. The IS-7 probably going to go and take the J0 position. For HAPPS here, they're playing full 1 cap, not taking any other positions on the map, it looks like. They're not taking any A3 positions, any north positions here, but quite interesting what MR3D are actually doing here with most of their tanks in the mid, no one taking the north.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Looks like they're taking the speedy way.
I'm still
Very
not
risky.
super excited by them splitting their tanks up this far apart on what is one of the largest maps in the game.
Well, I mean, the thing is here is that these tanks are very difficult to push. The IS-4 and the IS-7 are very difficult to push. But here, Bad Dog does do a quick spotting run, takes a shot probably by the CSs, but the double 277s might go immediately through and onto the IS-7. Free makes it into the dip, but it looks like he will make it into the dip here. Quite interesting what HAPPS are doing. I mean, MR3D are doing quite a basic strat, but it looks like they are kind of, HAPPS are reading it out a bit. A New Era JS does give a shot to Sauna there, so not the best trading in the beginning, but yeah, we need to see what they want to do with it here, because they're sending the double Cran down the K line. They're going to try and get shots onto New Era JS, because New Era JS here in this position is very difficult to deal with, especially with that IS-4 on Crossfire. It may only be 2 tanks, but I had this kind of expression in 15v15. 2 chieftains.
We're beginning
can hold
to see
4
reaction
tanks.
from the field commander there, getting the guys in the north down to the south. They're beginning to change what they're doing. And they're exploring all sorts of different angles here. Are they considering coming around the back of them and getting the surround, or are they considering going down the 0 line?
Looks like
It's gonna be interesting.
they do want to go behind them with the VZs there. And I feel like HAPPS don't really know what they want to do at the moment. They've given up the base positions on D2. They're no closer to clearing out the K line. It is a 10-minute mode, so they do have a lot of time to play with here. But
They're kind of putting all their eggs
just
in one basket, though, at the moment, even though they do have the guys down at K5.
I mean, they're putting the eggs in the basket, but the basket has a hole in it at the moment. But they are kind of reading that this south is unplayable. I mean, it's so difficult to push out this IS-7 and IS-4. They could probably hold about 4 tanks just on their own, just considering how good the defensive positions are. But it looks like HAPPS are making the rotation here. They might want to go and rotate and play in the north.
And quite
So
rightly, the
decisions are being made.
VZ-55s, they've decided to go back to their initial positions. They've read it themselves that they don't need to react just yet.
Well, I mean, as was said, it is a 10-minute game mode, so they've got a lot of time to play with here, really.
And the scores currently are still very, very even. Very little hit points have been exchanged, with only about 400 hit points, the deficit between the two teams. So it's incredibly close at the 7-minute mark.
Well, I mean, you trade HP for the tank, right? You trade a Batchat's HP as opposed to an E100 because you get speed and clip. So HP in the beginning doesn't make that much of a difference. It's more towards the end. If the HP was 3k different, sure, it would make a massive difference. But just with 400, 800, it's a drop in the bucket here. But
Exactly.
It looks like MR3D are actually gonna make that 0 line commitment. They're committing with 4 tanks.
Taking them quite a long time to organize their tanks, though, and to make a decisive idea as to what they're going to do. It felt to me like they took maybe a minute to do that.
I mean, they're thinking about it, aren't they? And this being a 10-minute mode, they have got that luxury. The tanks have been spotted out here. MR3D will have the reactions coming out here, but this is going to be a very painful push. Sauna already taking heavy damage. New Era JS giving him another one. These 277s are going to need to push up and over into this IS-7, and the IS-4 is going to be shooting the whole time here, but the reactions are coming out by MR3D. They are getting the Batchet in support. They're going up and over onto this IS-4, but we need to see if this is going to work, because the amount they're going to bleed for this. In the meantime, the Kran and the CS are pushing onto the IS-7 there. They should have enough DPM, but we need to see how much damage this Batchet can output here. IS-7 is being focused out here. New Era JS fluffs the shot there, but is now getting focused out by both of these tanks. Clay Navarro will be on reload here, though, but New Era JS will go down. The IS-4 will fall at some point, but we need to see if Sauna are being pushed on here. But I don't feel like this was the correct play by MR3D. They're pushing with the Kran, with the VZ onto this VZ S-Conk combo, but that's not a winning engagement. The S-Conk has too much DPM, and the clip potential is massive by that VZ as well.
Okay, so and the bottom there, the IS-4 finally goes down.
And the IS-7 as well.
And the
Clay
IS-7.
Navarro didn't go down here. 2 tank deficit and HP being equal. That's heavily in favor of HAPPS. It look right now, MR3D need to make some kind of play, but I don't see an option really. Bad Dog is about to be reloaded. He should be able to clip out Sauna and Our Trap, but the cap is being started. Simulator and Slayer here. They're very difficult to push without a doubt. Down to 400, he can't really make a play. New Era SFN doesn't really have the clip potential to make this work. He needs to clip out the Kran completely here, but Pay to Win Biscuit needs to get his HP in this fight at the moment.
I think if Beast the worst bot just needs to stay and pressurize that cap if he wanted to. He's come out of cap now because
but they don't even need to, because Edwolf is completely out the fight.
Keep the pressure and force the mistakes, but now they just don't need to because they've made the mistakes, and now they're completely split. They've got the guns all over the shop, and they can easily just hunt them down one by one.
We'll see here. Bad Dog is clipping out here. He gets out Outrap, but Outrap goes down there. Ed Wolf needs to get in the crossfire here. It's a 3v6. It's not great, but HP is equal. Saunabot does go down, but Pay to Win Biscuit needs support. He needs a friend because he's isolated, and they're going from Ed Wolf is far out of the fight. Bad Dog is far out of the fight as well, and probably maybe on reload here. Looks like he has a few shells remaining and will put those into Simulator, but at the moment, Pay to Win Biscuit needs to get out at least one more clip if he wants to keep his team back in it. He does get that clip out, but he does go down here. HP is actually in the advantage of MR3D, but they're about to lose Pay to Win Biscuit, and right now we need to see what they want to do with it. They are still under defense. There is still 3 minutes to go, and with Pay to Win Biscuit going down, it's a 3v4 with HP still in favor of MR3D.
Did you see from across the map there that VZ55 took out the Super Conk on the
Yeah,
hill?
he got clipped in the back by Bad Dog. It was some very nice shooting, but
amazing shooting. Well
kind
played.
of the S-Conk's mistake to turn his back. He thought Bad Dog would go and reload. Bad Dog kept his shells. Very good game knowledge to keep those shells there. So very nice play, but it's not over yet. Still,
Well, Ed Wolf
MR3D
still has 2,340 hit points. He's still a full health tank.
Yeah, but I mean, the big thing is the gun in the game at the moment. HP, you can have as much HP as you want, but if you're in a 3v6, it doesn't really matter.
So how much is that 1 HP Bad Dog? He's got the clip, and there's a lot of guys with a lot of low hit points here, so it'll be interesting to see if he can work any angles.
Yeah, but the decisions are being made here. There's still enough time to cap with 1, and they're even choosing to cap with 2 at the moment. They are taking back the positions, HAPPS here, and I feel like
full pressure.
I feel like MR3D are giving up too many of these positions, but right now it's all on Bad Dog. If Bad Dog can clip out Slayer in the middle and get those decaps, they have an opportunity to win this game. I just don't feel like Ed Wolf here really should be just sitting in the back with his full health. I really feel like he needs to make some kind of decisive play as well.
And it looks like to me, I'm not sure if this is correct, but Slay is actually preempting where Bad Dog is, and now they're having an exchange of fire.
Yeah, he's making the prediction here. It's a very good prediction, but Slayer doesn't connect the shot there.
And not one shot has managed to connect with him. He's actually managed to matrix 3 different shots and finally gets hit.
But he's getting clipped out by the Cran there. This is not great by Bad Dog. The bat shot is too slow for this. Slayer will be reloaded in the time he comes back, and this was not the correct play that Bad Dog needed to make. He needed to go much wider and use his view range and camo to clear this. But now Bad Dog still has a chance to take out Slayer, but with the amount of HP that's been lost, I don't feel like it's going to make a difference here. Bad Dog does need to outplay him, but no, gets sniped
taken
from the
middle
by Nirvana here, but Ed Wolf takes out Nevado here, but now the DPM of the 277 will come in. Ed Wolf might be able to clip out Beast, but then he won't have the reload to deal with to get in those decaps. I don't know, I just feel like 1 HP Bad Dog needed to make a better play in the end game there. He needed to go wider, he needed to use his speed and his camo.
Absolutely. And with 19 seconds left on the clock, the pressure is definitely full on for Ed Wolf.
Yeah, but it makes no difference here. Ed Wolf has 1 in the chamber. He has to go for that decap because even if he kills Beast, he won't be reloaded in time to get the decap onto Rubus. But
and he's decided against it. He turns.
And his head falls off.
His gun. Unlucky, buddy.
Nice AMRAC 10 the game there, but yeah, very close one. I feel like MR3D made they had the better positions, but they made incorrect decisions in the game. And I feel like HAPPS just grouped up their forces. They used their more tanks and just kind of brute force their way through. So nice victory there.
I do feel like that's something we have in the military, where we have all guns down range, and when we move, we keep all of our maximum firepower in a direction, and fire team movement is very important. And it seems like they deployed that kind of strategy against the other team, who were just kind of bitty. They were here and they were there, and they were making solo plays almost against a team who were much more team focused. In my mind, how I see it anyway.
Yeah, so I'm going to make the next training room. Not entirely sure who it will be. We'll need to wait for Xander, Almighty Xander, to come back. Unfortunately, he has just gone for something or other. If you, Weston, if you can just find my training room, I'll organize training room because I'm normally
doing it. Yep, that's not a problem at all.
Xander has informed us he is taking a pee break. So good to know.
The overall winners of that match were
HAPPS.
HAPPS. So they were in. That was really interesting because they actually came from behind to win that engagement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, going down 2-0 on steps and then picking up the next 2 games is very impressive. It genuinely is. Like,
it is. And that shows a heck of a an amount of character there to come down from being 2-0 down effectively.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's when you're down that much, I mean, it can feel pretty negative, really. But I mean, managing to come back from that really makes you feel happy, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Xander has returned, Almighty Xander, Domine. Who will be the next opponents that we will show off, Xander?
RLD and GTD-X.
Yeah, if you can get both of the teams to join my training room, Xander, you can join it as well. It's open. We'll get both of the teams in here.
So for the benefit of the stream, just to let them know how this works a little bit, Banter, let's talk about how we have organized getting the teams together. I'll start and say we've asked everybody who's playing to submit a team list before they play of all of their players, including 2 reserves, so 9 players in total for each team. Banter, do you want to talk about the map selection and why it is what it is?
Well,
Especially...
I mean, I personally did the map selection. So anyone who has problems with the map selection, you can scream at me. I decided that I wanted the maps to be a little bit different from the maps we see in What 7. I added a few special ones. Ruinberg back in the mix. It got removed from many of the main tournaments. Got removed just because it was a bit of a difficult map to attack. So that's in there. I added Lakeville, Siegfried Line, Arctic region as well. Those maps haven't seen much action for many years. They were designed for tier 8, really, but they're not the greatest balanced in the world. But I decided to add them just for a little bit of extra content, you know. Yeah, it was. We haven't seen any of those maps yet. I want to see them. I'm gonna try and push RLD to pick one of the maps.
But do you
but
think
yeah,
the
we
teams
should hopefully see them?
Because most teams have already had strats for a lot of the normal maps that they would play in competitive. But if some of these new maps, do you think, well, they're not new maps, but some of these maps they wouldn't normally play, maybe the strats won't be quite as developed, which could lead to potentially mistakes being made, or potentially they might discover some gem of information. Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, the thing with that is these maps haven't been played on competitive, so a lot of the players won't have. So obviously they have a lot of other tournaments they can look at. They can look at the other tournaments and go, okay, these guys did this, these guys did this. So they'll have to make their own inspiration, which I think is quite nice. I think, but we will see. I'm just asking. All right, nice. They're choosing Mannheim. Nice. Good
Mannheim
job, RLD.
line. Fantastic. So we're going to get one of these fabled maps that you were discussing there. So what kind of things do you expect to see on Mannheim line? What's the normal tactics there for Mannheim?
Well, I mean, Mannheim hasn't really been played since tier 8.
I know.
Back when it was 7-on-7 tier 8. 1 second. So it's not the greatest balance on attack, but we'll see how the 15-15 meta develops. I'm just asking GTD if they want to defend first.
Yeah, a little flip of the coin there. See who wants to go first. But we've got a lot of interesting positions. We've got the high ground in the north. We've got the low ground in the south. There's no real way of capping this if they choose to play that way. I'd say it's heavily in the defender's favor. Would you agree with that, Banter?
Sorry, I'm reading the chat because they are. One moment.
Okie dokie.
Zan, I think Fico is complaining that on stream, have you put the symbol for RLD or RLD second clan?
Well, it would appear we've got some imaging issues. I can't hear what Xander's saying at the moment. So, in the meantime, we'll talk about Mannheim line.
You need to unmute your Discord.
That'll be why.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah, Mannheim line. I do feel like it is in the favor of the defenders, but the caps are quite far apart.
Well, yeah, they are, but it's very difficult to cap on this one. It's very you defense is very strong. So we'll need to see what they want to do here.
It'd be interesting to see if they commit to a solid push on one particular cap, or whether they do this weird kind of split play that I've seen a couple of the teams doing at the moment. As much as I like having all of that information in sevens, I'd prefer it if the teams, in my opinion, would stick together and just make a decisive play. But obviously, timing is everything.
It's nice to see kind of splits and making crossfire angles and playing off the nice crossfire. So, but I mean, yeah, that's decisions that they have to definitely make in the game.
Absolutely.
One moment.
Okay, are we closer to getting a decision? Because we're coming up to 20 past 8 at the moment, so we're right on
I'm just
schedule.
asking Baby RLD what players they want down, and GTD haven't made a decision yet.
Oh,
yeah, but Baby RLD chose Mannheim. Like, so are GTD choosing Himmelsdorf?
So we're hearing some interesting information on the internal comms there about all the different maps that the teams are looking to play. We'll update you as it goes through and the serious concrete decisions are made. I don't want to sit in silence in the stream listening to Xander too much. Oh, okay, they've changed again. Fantastic. But we're definitely on for Mannheim line first, or are they changing it now
did
to
I PM
Runeberg?
the wrong? That makes more sense. I PM'd RLD main when I was meant to PM RLD second. Because RLD second on Discord. Yeah, they are.
Banter's back in the room. So it's Runeberg this time. So obviously everything we've just said about Mannheim Lime completely throw that out the window. So I've played this tier 10 quite a lot in one of my old teams, and there's all sorts of interesting strats that we've played. Be interesting to see how these guys play in sevens and not 15s. Sevens obviously constricts you a lot and means that you're not able to cover all angles of the map. So what do you think, Banter? Are they going to play more the field, or are they going to play more the town? I personally think that using certain tactics to keep and take the town and create those crossfires, you can dig in easier in the town.
No, I think we're going to see a play where they take a tank down the 0 line to cover the 2 cap, and then keep some other tanks in the middle village, and then tanks covering the 1 cap as well. I think we're going to see some very defensive ones. Okay, so looks like GTD have chosen Prokhorovka. Okay, so N77 is out. 1, 2, 3.
So all sorts of interesting strats that I've played, and one of the strats that I used to play on this for an absolute laugh was E3s. I think they're a very strong tank still, and back when HE was really, really powerful, first shot was always HE, and you were able to literally just evaporate with about 4 different E3s. This is back in the 15 versus 15 on this map that I'm sure I've played. We just literally send a couple of them to defend in the town, literally in a line before the artillery strike comes out. And we were able to evaporate the odd tank and pick up the odd kill at the early game before melting away, using the corners of the town and exploiting different areas. Now, obviously, this is 7 versus 7, and they're going to be completely different strats here. I'm super interested and stoked to see how these guys are going to play. Obviously, in the last game, we saw HAPPS were a little bit indecisive in the early game, but then went down 2-0. But being more decisive in the late game, and then bringing it back to 2-2, and then into a tiebreak where they managed to win. So it'd be very interesting to see if both of these teams have the strength of character to go through the same thing, whether it's going to be a whitewash or whether it's going to be very, very close. How are we doing, Banter? Are they all just about ready now?
Yeah, I'm just asking ready. They're picking the lineups. So yeah, Runeberg is a very defense-centric map, so it's going to be interesting to see what strats come out. Obviously, in other tournaments like What's 7 and what's WOT7 and TVP League. They haven't been played, so they're gonna have to make their own inspiration.
It's absolutely going to be crucial to see how they take all of that information in as to what the enemy team are doing and how they react. Not an easy map to actually rotate around if you've got slow tanks, because it can be quite open, but the ridge in the center can stop you getting view range. And obviously, with that change to the map where the window is right in the center, that changes everything and how you play the way that this map used to be played. Do you think that's part of the reason why you chose this map as to be part of our rotation?
Well,
The changes, do they make a difference?
I chose it because obviously it used to be played, and they did change the map a little bit when they updated the HD model. They made low ground in the corner near the 2 caps, so the bottom right hand corner, and they changed some other positions. But I feel like these players should be able to adapt. Obviously, attack is still very difficult on this map. It always has been. You have to attack uphill. You have to attack from a city. You're always being punished every step of the way. But I feel like these players can figure. Obviously, like remember the time when Fjords first came out, it was so balanced from one map, unbalanced. I feel like one side of the map had 60% win rate. But once a meta kind of developed, the win rate kind of stabilized to like 51, 50. So I feel like if these players can develop a meta on these special maps, I feel like they can make it work.
Absolutely, and I think that's certainly something that's going to keep our league unique and interesting. Obviously, with the difference in tanks, for the benefit of any new players that are watching, no EBRs in this lineup. There's no premium tanks. There's no chieftains or 279Es, anything like that. We've got a big list in our games guide rules guidebook that shares all of the different tanks that people are allowed to take and not take, and that's very much what keeps this league fresh and interesting. And so what's your reaction there to we didn't actually manage to get a interview with these 2 clan leaders before we started, so we've managed to get that with the HAPPS team and with
I mean, I do know the FCs for this team. Mal90 is I believe is the FC for GTD. Quite a nice guy. For Baby RLD, it is Fico, also quite a lovely person. But yeah, we are about to go into this game here. Both teams should be ready. Yep, Xander, let's go. And yeah, interesting lineups by both these teams. Taking a CS on Himmelsdorf on Runeberg. Sorry. Oh, I have room control. Damn it. Sorry, unfortunately, I'm in command. Obviously, I'm not used to being in charge. I like my own way, but yeah, looking at the lineups here for Baby RLD on defense, CS, double VZ, S-Conk, 50 BI, 7, 113. Also kind of a similar lineup to the old ways with the double VZ there as well. CS probably going and taking the K0 corner. For GTD, we're looking at a 113, 50B, double VZ, and triple Batchat. Risky taking triple lineup in this wonderful world of VZs. They might try and make a 1-cap play. They could make a play on either side, but they're definitely going to push something from the start.
Well, that's a lot of DPM to get out in an opening clip, isn't it? I wonder where if they're gonna work together, or are they gonna simply gather information?
Well, they're either gonna push the A line or they're gonna push the K line. It has to be one or the other. There's no other way around it, really. They have to push something, and if they push him from the beginning, it looks like they are going to do the 0-line play. We'll need to see how much damage they take on this push. We'll need to see if Kavai spots them out early as well. If Kavai spots them here on the crossing, which I don't believe he did, he should spot them now, though, and because they're spotted so early, the amount of damage they're going to take is going to be significant there.
And he doesn't really make the most of that position, I don't think. He didn't get there quickly enough, did he?
Oh, he got there fine. He got to the spots there, but the RLD shooting is not on point. Only 1 shot of damage taken there. Kavai crosses to try and live a little bit longer. Mal finally gets eliminated there. He got tracked, but the other 2 Batchats, they make it across. They're going to eliminate this 113 pretty cheap. And in the meantime, the cap is going on. If these Batchats can get the spots on the crossing, Baby RLD will take heavy damage to try and get these decaps. This is a nice opening by GTD-X.
This feels like a strat from back in the day with the Batchats coming out. It's back. It's absolutely brilliant to see that the old ways are sometimes the best ways. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's nice to see the Batchats back again.
I mean, it literally is the old ways with the Batchats coming out here. Both the Bats are probably on reload here. The Batchats are trying to get the spots on the crossing there. We need to see how much damage they can deal from this cap circle, but 20 seconds to go. The tanks are grouping up here, and if they can get these heavies to group up, they can eliminate these Bats.
And look
it
here,
can allow
we've got an
RLD to come back
IS-7 and a
into this game.
CS-63 coming up behind trying to get the crossfire.
But
maybe
10
they can
seconds
get a
on this
decap
cap now.
Exactly.
7 seconds decap does
and they
finally
do get
come
the
out
decap.
there.
Fantastic.
The 50B is being clipped out there by the VCs.
And the
Cap
game
has
is
been
now wide
abandoned here.
open.
They do need to go. They need to make a decision here. GTD-X at the moment. They need to either go forward or they need to go back. They have to make one of the two decisions because capping is not going to be an option here. In the meantime, though, the batches are being pushed on by the VCs, by the S-Conk, and I just feel at the moment HP is equalizing, but they are making these kills here.
This is where the bat chats definitely are weaker in the new way of playing the World of Tanks. These guys are great at clipping out a tank and getting early position if you use them in force, but when you've just got one left or you're trying to defend or hold a position, these guys run out of shells and magazines are empty, they're useless, they're out of the game.
But I mean, HP has equalized here. Kenny BFG, he tries to cross to try and get safe because he can't stay in this cap circle. But Joey Hamlet does clip him out there. Didn't expect that one. In the meantime, the city repush is coming out there. Gello takes out Call Me Dragon. They're trying to kill Kerr on the crossing here. We'll need to see if they can eliminate this CS63. Unfortunately, they're not able to. He makes it out here. But now the HP, the guns are up for RLD. HP is up for RLD. And you can see how difficult this attack is. Forsaken should get taken out here momentarily. Might get out a shot or two more. But the end result is inevitable, I'm afraid. GTD-X will go down here in this first round. They gave it a good go. I feel like RLD made some big mistakes here with their shooting on the crossing. They finally got out Mal because Mal got tracked on the crossing, but very, very nice here. Very nice opening by GTD. I just feel like they needed to be a bit more active in the city repush.
I mean, they were literally, what was it, maybe 11 to 15 seconds left, and then they would have capped out.
No, closer than that.
Was it closer than that?
It was about 6-7 seconds towards cap. But the thing is, the moment the cap was completed, the moment the cap was decapped, they kind of froze. They needed to make an executive decision here.
It felt like they expected it to work, and it was only the sacrifice of that IS-7 coming up behind them that really changed that and stopped them and made them have to stop and think twice.
Yeah, but I mean, the game isn't over here. Sure, there's a gun advantage for RLD, there's a HP advantage, but the HP advantage is not massive. It's closer than what it was in the beginning. Bear in mind, because of all of these batch chats, they have a HP disadvantage from the start. So,
indeed.
But here, now RLD not making any mistakes. They're grouping up their tanks. They're working as a team. They're not taking any risks, which is very, very nice to see here. They're pushing up the 50B. Sure, maybe they could just sit back for 6 minutes, but that doesn't make good content. Joey Hamlet, he's full health. He's got that 2,340 hit points, and he's going to use it. He paid for them. He finds Gelu, does the first low roll. He's going to need 3 to finish off. Another low roll. I'd pay whoever got him the RNG, but the VC in the meantime does give 2 to Joey Hamlet, but the HP trade is worth it there. But you can kind of see HP has evened out here. It's a 2v5, but HP's equal almost.
Indeed, and now I just feel like the most decisive, the ones that make the play, are going to win this battle. We'll have to see how that plays out as the VZ55A goes down to 231 hit points, as he's got a 3-on-1 at the moment with no help from the AMX50B.
Yeah, he does have one shot though, but he doesn't know Panzerfaust is there on the left-hand side. Does spot him out there, but bounces the shot, going to allow Panzerfaust to pick it up. And after that, the 50B will be all on his lonesome there. It was a nice effort. It was a strong effort coming out here by GTD, but in the end, it's just not going to be enough. So, very, very close game though for a map that's to be very unbalanced for the defensive team. Very, very close game here. Don't really know why Panzerfaust doesn't just go for it. He
playing with his food? Is he playing with his food? That is the question.
Oh,
he's gone down.
There, can we see a 1v5? No, he was so close. I mean, 1,000 hit points left. Split over 4 tanks. I mean, it's an impressive display by GTD for sure.
That was such a good match, actually. I really enjoyed watching that. It felt like it was back to the old days of the ESL or something, with bat chats flying about left, right, and center. And that early play really showed the strengths of the bat chats. But like we said during the match, they went down after taking the position. They couldn't make any more of it as they went on to reload. What are your thoughts and opinions, Banter?
I mean, I liked it. I feel like Mal got a bit unlucky on the crossing. He got tracked, which meant he basically got eliminated, which was really unlucky. If he hadn't been tracked, he probably would have made it, actually. They probably would have won this game. But I liked what they did with the bats. I feel like the big mistake came with the VZs. The moment the decap comes out, you have to make an executive decision. You need to either go and repush City, which I think was definitely the correct choice. Leave the bats up to their fate. They're going to go down, hope they get out a clip, which they did. But I feel like they needed to abandon it. Go repush the City. Go kill the CS. Go kill the VZ55. But they didn't do it. The decisions were a bit slow, but it was a very, very close game and a very impressive one there.
And it's only those fine margins that really made the difference. I think that freeze was probably the difference. And that's how close it can be. in these kinds of scenarios?
Yeah, I mean, looking here, hidden in, Kenny out. Oops, hidden the wrong team. But yeah, I mean, looking at the damages here, Joey Hamlet on 3.7. I mean, he was full health until the end of the game day. I mean, he had a complete free fall, managed to get out a few clips, but I mean, his shooting wasn't the best, 15, 11, 10. But Fico there, the commander, the commandant of baby RLD. They're the babies, but they're the ones who actually do the advances and get shit done. Pulling out 2.7k damage, 1 kill. Legend on 2.4. Kawa 2.1, but 3 kills, very crucial. Panther Faust, not the best damage there. Actually coming out with a bit of Panther Faust doing almost more team damage than actual damage there. Definitely a Reddit potential gamer. But yeah, for GTD-X, 3.7 coming out here by the VZ55. 1 to Teen of Gulu managed to farm that IS-7 quite heavily. Bear in mind his damage is inflated because he managed to farm the IS-7 a bit. The 50B, not that effective. Same with Kenny BFG. He was the one who crossed towards the... he was the one who, instead of going towards the city, he went to the obelisk, you could call it, I guess, the statue. Big mistake in the decisions there. Should have gone back to the city. But yeah, Albert living until then, 10-10-4, not the best pen rate for a 50B, only doing 1.6 as well, being the last alive. Not the best, but the bad shots, they performed very well, apart from obviously Mel, who got wrecked on the crossing because he got tracked. Very unlucky for Mel there, but...
They're looking to get Kenny
we'll be
in?
going into this next game shortly. Sorry?
They're looking to get Kenny in, are they? No, Kenny out. Okay,
Kenny
all
out.
Done. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
I'm on it. Don't worry.
Like a car bonnet. Excellent.
Oh,
Right, let's...
car bonnet. All right. RLD ready? I'm just asking a question.
Are they ready?
They're not ready yet. One of their players is just picking his tank.
Sitting in the garage.
They should be ready to go. I might have to go downstairs and grab some Maltesers because I'm loving this entertainment at the moment.
Okay, let's see if this is going to be one for each, because like we said before, this is a tricky map to attack on. So
I mean, it was close.
It was really close. It was fantastic. But you would expect it to effectively, to coin a phrase from tennis, go with serve.
Well, I mean, kind of. I mean, I know GTD, I streamed some of their games before. GTD did some trainings for us, kind of promo trainings against, I believe they fought MR3D, but I can't remember. But they definitely played very well. No, actually, they fought 3PX, and they actually performed pretty reasonably, actually, considering 3PX are probably one of the strongest teams. But so, yeah, if you'll just... One moment, they are ready. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hulu. Yeah, there we go.
Interesting spread.
If you'll just give me one moment, I'm just going to run downstairs and grab something.
No problem at all.
Actually, no, I'll do that after this game.
I would suggest, you give it a second. It is exciting. So let's just go down the tanks, Banter. Give us your initial impressions there. Double 50B is the thing that draws my eye.
Well, I mean, on attack is the most important setup. The defense never changes that much. You know, the double 50B, who cares? The defense is what's most important. No, the attack is what's most important, because obviously their tanks dictate how they're going to play. Taking triple CS instead of triple batchats is an interesting choice. They might try and do the same thing that GTD did, except CS instead of batchats. But 277, 113, double VZ, quite interesting ones here for defense. Double VZ, S-Conk, double 113, and double 50B. An interesting one here, but it looks like Baby RLD are actually going for a different one here. They're gonna go and make a K-line play. They might try and secure that K0 corner, because if you secure that K0 corner nice and early, it can set you up super nice to play over the 2-cap.
Absolutely, and it's looking like Mal is sitting here up in the A7 area with one of the 50Bs. Obviously, the entire team has gone south, so.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to scramble back into the action here, but this is very risky coming out here by GTD. I think this game is going to be all but over in the first 2 minutes. The CSs are going up and over. We'll need to see, will they make it into the hole without taking significant punishment? It looks like they will. They do ram each other a little bit there, but we need to see how much damage can be outputted by the 113, by the 50B. Fire comes out there, super unlucky. This could be the the difference maker here, because now the VZs will be on reload. The double losing this CS, you're losing so much DPM so early because of this. GTD will definitely lose a lot of tanks here, but they will make it up for it in HP. Call Me Dragon being focused out now by GTD, but Just Kill You should go down. Coward now the last alive in this corner. The fire super unlucky there. Forsaken trying to shield his teammate, unfortunately unable to, but now the reaction needs to come in by Baby RLD here. They're going. They wanted to go for the little city, but now they're going to try and secure the corner here.
Yeah, absolutely. I would get
Kavai
rid of that
and Legend
crossfire
going
as
in
quickly
there.
as possible if I was them. But they need
Yeah,
to get
but
into
now-
cover.
Now the positional advantage is so heavily in GTD's favor. Same with the hit points, 7,000 hit points advantage for GTD on the defense here. As I said, it's going to be over in the first 2.5 minutes. The fire super unlucky. I still don't think they would have won that corner, but they might have if these 1-13 and VZ had come in. In the meantime here, CNS, another fire. Can they get any more lucky? So unfortunate here. Legend might even win. Forsaken might even win the 1v1 in the corner here. But yeah, Gulu and the 50B of Albert Def, they focus fire Fico. Now it's just Panther Faust in the corner on his own, showing the weakness of this VZ55. The fact that there's no constant burst, there's just singular DPM here. But the 1v1 between Forsaken and Legend does continue. Legend, Forsaken probably in the advantage here. They're all a 3-shot, but Forsaken does have more DPM and obviously does have more friends, let's say.
And the
But
team
Forsaken
damage is oh no, it's not team damage, my apologies. It's just look at the sea of corpses that are just sitting there in that corner.
I mean,
Absolute
if you're going to
carnage.
play this side, that corner is so important, and getting
And,
the fire was so unfortunate.
It was
Like
absolutely.
getting this fire was so really unfortunate.
He obviously has been playing that Murney Hope just beforehand and managed to pull in the heated shot or something from that game mode, because that is ridiculous. Getting all of those fires. I think was it 2 fires there? 2
Yeah,
fires in a
no,
row? It felt
no.
like
Each
it.
team got a fire, but
They each got a fire.
it-
Jeepers creepers.
but I mean, the GTD's fire was much more significant because it happened earlier. So,
Indeed.
but it shows like the RNG in this game, it can make such a big difference.
Absolutely. I
we
mean, RNG
will
is
move.
one of the largest components of this game, and one of the most controversial.
Yeah, but I'm just going to switch the map over and go downstairs and grab something. If you can kindly just talk over the damages that they did.
Absolutely.
And I will
So
be back shortly.
we will just have a quick look at the damage here on the Runeberg, the final game, and the team scores for RLD. Legend coming in with just under 2,000. Panzerfaust getting a significantly better performance, and even though he's on the losing team there at 1,700. Kawai coming in with a 113 at just under 1,400. Core 777 doing 1,179. So all of these numbers here in the thousands area, whereas on the far side, on the other team, GTD-X, the AMX 50B, the tank I was trying to say to everybody, probably not meta, seems to be a good pick for Albert 5, because he managed to pick in top in at 3,788 damage, whereas the 113, also more of a classic tank in my opinion, driven by Forsaken, he managed to get 4 kills, so he got 4 final shots, amassing a total damage of 3,411, which is absolutely fantastic. Yes, I'm cool. How are the teams looking? They're all getting into their positions at the moment. They're all getting into spectator mode, so hopefully they can sort themselves out. The next map is
Prokhorovka.
That's great. So it's going to be an interesting. We all know about how to play Prokhorovka and the push onto the 2-cap or playing at distance. It's going to be interesting. The enemy teams, though, going back to the last match, you can see the difference in spread. 3 players really making the difference, hitting the 3,000s on the GTD-X, really leading the charge. Whereas on the other team, the RLD, all less than 2,000 hit points that they managed to achieve, and obviously not picking up the kills because they lost the match. CS63's banter didn't really make the same impact, and I never expected them to, especially with my opinions on the 63, as the bat chats in the game preceding this one.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously there was a fire, which was very unfortunate, but this is the thing about these VZs. You've got so much burst, you just eliminate one tank, and then while your two tanks are on reload, the enemy only have 2 tanks to shoot back at you. which means because you're eliminating guns over HP, it's so valuable, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously the CS63s, they just can't output anywhere near that kind of damage consistently enough. Yes, they can take fantastic positions on a wide open map. They can get there with that gas turbine style engine system. But after that, when they get to the position, they're a little bit of a letdown, aren't they, really? They don't always put out the damage consistently because they're just such a kind of an
not
average
necessarily.
tank. It
I'd
feels
say
to me.
They're in close quarters with heavies, which means it's hard to pen, but also the fact that it's double VC. You can kind of see like all of the. So Joey got set on fire. He only did 1 shot of damage, right?
Yeah.
The other one got 3 shots out, and the other one got 4 shots out. He bounced 1, but you can kind of see it's the fire was super unfortunate, and the fact that the VZ is like so strong really kind of counters CS, especially in close quarters.
Yeah, and we saw the power of the VZ recently when we played ranked. Everybody and his brother seemed to be playing the VZ, so it very much is the meta tank at the moment across World of Tanks, not just in sevens. It'll be interesting to see because we've seen them almost relentlessly in each match that we've played. We've seen VZs being played. So it's interesting how the meta has changed over the years. Okay, so going into the next match, do you want to run down the tanks here, Banta?
Well, on the attacking side of RLD, we're looking at 1i7, SCONK, double VZ, and triple CS. For GTD-X, it's a much more passive lineup, actually. Kranwagen, SCONK, VZ, double CS Leopard, and a T100. We need to see, yesterday we saw some lineups on Pokrovka Defense, like an SGRV and a Leopard. You don't want to go too TD sniper tank heavy. But we'll need to see what they want to do with the light. They're definitely going to need to get some initial information very quickly. They need to use this light if you want to be effective on this map.
Absolutely. You need to get that information. But how important is it going to be to get... so back in the day when the 15s were playing this more regularly, you quite often saw people getting hulled down at A9-ish, roughly, B9, stopping people from coming off the hill. But they're completely bypassing the hill with the 63s because they don't need to. Do you think...
Yeah, they're going and taking the corner from the start. We need to see how much damage that GTD-X can do on the crossing. Joey Hamlet takes heavy damage there, down to 479, gets tracked, gets held. I don't think he'll be making it out of this, but the other tanks are surviving here. We'll need to see, will a repush come out for GTD-X?
As Joey goes down and is taken out of the game, they're gunned down now. Wow, look at that.
Things are not looking well at the moment for Baby RLD. 1 tank down. They're getting pushed on by the heavies into the lower ground, which is meaning that the tanks of Hold Me Dragon, Panther Faust, and Vico are going to have to come forward and get in that crossfire.
How much is this trade going to be worth it? If they do manage to get the 63s out, they're going to be on the low ground against tanks that are going to be landing on top of them. That is it. GG.
Well, the thing is, they are taking heavy damage here for this push, though. Baby RLD are. You can kind of see N7 down to 600, Fico 1500, Call Me Dragon down to 1200. Albert's probably going to drop on them now. Mal is up. You can kind of see they're rotating position for position here. The T100 is even just tickling the bottom of Legend 09 there in the SCONK, who's trying to farm onto Gulu. He's down to 65 HP. He'll go down, and you can kind of see the HP is starting to dwindle for Baby RLD. They're down two
Albert
guns,
just fires
and they
his
don't have
entire
the
magazine. He's taken out. He's just managed to use his entire magazine, get 3 penetrating shots, and bouncing the I7 as he falls back. Meanwhile, the Super Conk takes over whilst he reloads. That is effectively game over, in my opinion. Well done. What an exciting game. It's like they traded positions. They took the position, then they traded the position, and then they counter-pushed, and they managed to achieve the win.
Well, the thing is, they could have won this if the tank of Joey Hamlet had actually survived, but unfortunately he got tracked on the crossing, and GTD-X hit their shots. So
somebody's marksmanship was fantastic there. That was absolutely brilliant. Or maybe it was a lucky shot. We don't know. But at this, I'd say at this stage, we're probably talking about players who can consistently make those shots. So that was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Let's run down the team scores here. Poor Joey, 0 damage.
I mean, he got set on fire in the previous game, but in the first game in the 50B, he had a very good game. So
yeah,
he's now being punished for it.
He's been punished for having 1 good game. I feel so bad for him. But altogether, what a dynamic game. I can't get over it. Absolutely brilliantly. With the opponents on GTD-X, Gelu Redline coming in and just short of 4,000 damage. He really put a shift in there. What are your thoughts, Banter?
I mean, yeah, he was the one who was shooting them all on the crossing. He was the CS that lived until the end. Forsaken died, so he could farm. Basically, he got 4 kills as well. Very nice. Hidden did very good damage as well. Yeah, it's a good damage spread. Only CNST getting absolutely destroyed. He missed his clip, actually. Not the best there, but...
Absolutely. And what I was saying at the beginning of the map, we're saying the VZ55s very much being the meta tank, especially within ranked at the moment. And on both sides...
I mean, they're the meta tank if you hit your shots. So.
Exactly. They didn't hit their shot. So that's the tankmanship, marksmanship, however you want to call it. I like tankmanship. It sounds cool. It sounds unique. But marksmanship will go for, even though that's normally with a rifle. And these guys, they didn't put out the damage this time.
Yeah, but tank guns are rifled, are they not?
The old ones are, but these days they tend to be smoothbore.
World War II tank game, I win.
Yeah. You can have that one. Although I'm sure the Sherman was smoothbore, but never mind. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely brilliant, though. Well done, both of those teams. So as they flip sides, it'll be interesting to see how the other team tackles the attack.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is their defense. They won the defense. They're designed to win it, but we might be going to a tiebreak here. We'll need to see. I mean, neither team has won their attack, so we'll need to see HP dealt on attack.
Yeah. So it's kind of going with serve at the moment, if you want to coin a phrase from tennis. Very, very close. These teams look like it could go either way, really. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It looks like somebody's had a game crash. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've already dealt with that. Don't worry.
Excellent. That's fantastic. So yeah, technical things are happening in the background, and we'll keep you posted on that Twitch. But
yeah,
this is absolutely brilliant.
For the people who are just watching, you have no idea how much actually goes into this. Like every year, I watch World of Tanks do like clan rivals and things like that, and they have like massive teams of people. And I just think like, how could they mess this up? And it's like things are so easy to mess up. You have no idea.
Yeah, obviously adding the human element into things quite often means that you can miss little comments or little things like that. So it's very, very important that we keep our focus. But I think altogether, this has been quite a successful second day of WoTi League International's first ever tournament. What are your opinions overall on the standard that has been from what you've seen?
I mean, personally, I've played in about every tournament there ever has been. I think it's been pretty good for a prototype, but I definitely feel there are areas that need to be improved. I feel like we need an overlay in game from World of Tanks. We need to get one of those just so it looks a little bit better for casting. And I feel like some other things need to be changed. But bear in mind, guys, this is a community tournament. It is being run by people in the community for people in the community. And we are going to start crowdfunding for awards for the players. And we want to make good content for you, you know? And you need to bear in mind, guys, this is the prototype, and things are going to improve based on community feedback. So we want your feedback. Absolutely.
Your feedback is what's going to make this really, really work.
Yeah, so we're about to go into this next game here.
Into the next attack. On Prokhorovka, my favorite scouting map. What's the highest ever scouting map that you've you've managed to do on this?
Just on Prokho in general?
On Prokhorovka.
Nearly 20k, I think.
20k. Well, that beats my best. My best is just short of 11k. Simply moving down the one line. Anyway, do you want to go down the tanks? Have they made any significant changes?
It looks like RLD are going for a much heavier lineup here on the defensive. CS, Batchat, Double VZ, S-Conk, 277 and I7. GTD-X, they're sticking with the Leopard, sticking with the T100. Very interesting choice to take this T100. Quite a controversial choice, especially on attack. But, I mean, it can be used. It's one tank less that's used for fighting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, double CS, double VZ, and S-Conk. So we'll need to see Batchat going for the initial spot, and we'll need to see what the T100 wants to do.
Okay, so it'd be interesting to see how they tackle it. This completely differently. Obviously, the last team, they moved straight in towards C0. They're completely tackling it a new and different way compared to the other team. Some early damage is gotten against the T100 Light.
Yeah, he went and did an initial spotting run. He Icarus flew too close to the sun, let's say.
Absolutely. Very biblical.
Yeah, Gulu peeks there, takes a shot from Joey Hamlet. Joey recovering his previous mistakes in the previous games. He's starting to try and get some damage here. So,
And it looks like the CS is 63 while Forsaken has taken the hill. That's something that they completely ignored in the last game. So it looks like both teams are just taking a breather here for a moment as they jostle for position.
yeah. I mean, we really need to see what GTD-X want to do with this light. It's really important what this light is going to do. It's going to dictate GTD-X's game. You take the light for a reason.
Absolutely. He doesn't need to take too many risks, but if he does make a risk, he needs to make sure it's the right risk.
I mean, as we said, it's a 10-minute mode, so they've got a lot of time to play with, but at the end of the day, an executive decision does need to be made.
Absolutely. It'd be interesting to hear if we manage to talk to some of these players in the future, how much of this was thought of before the match and how much of it is simply off the cuff.
I think it'll be a mix of the two. It depends on the team, depends on how much training they want to do.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when I'm training my team, we talk about first position and what happens at second position, which is basically where we basically say this is how we're going to start every single map on this particular map, and I try and set it up so that we are able to get as much information as possible and then to react. I'd be interested to hear, do other people do that? Is that something that you play in your way, or do you switch up and play it differently every single time? Are you
One moment,
enough to do
I'll
that?
answer that afterwards. But the 1-2 repush is actually coming out here. Looks like Baby RLD don't want to wait for their victory. They're actually pushing in, and it looks like Just For Kill You actually saw this very, very late here. So,
wow. So the one job Light Tank had, and then he didn't quite manage to pull it off. He's had to run away with his tail between his legs.
I mean, things are not that bad for Baby RLD though. They have the Leopard, they have the CS, they have them both on Crossfire. If no, not bad for GTD-X. Sorry. If these tanks don't hit their shots, and it looks like Fico is being focused out here. And if Fico goes down, this VZ will not have the burst to deal with Albert. And this repush, it's failing dead in its tracks at the moment.
There you go. They've
But
started
Albert
to
is
lose
getting
tanks.
shot from the mid. In the meantime, the 200 is pushing in to try and pick up Panther. It looks like yet again, Icarus threw a bit too close to the sun. The 200 gets picked up by Kavai, but now Albert and Hidden should be able to create good crossfire onto Kavai here. Kavai might be able to pick up Albert, but he will definitely get picked up by the Leopard 1 of Hidden. Does pick him up, but then gets picked
long
up in
shot
return
across
by
the
Hidden.
map, though.
But now, things are not won for GTX just yet. You do have the tanks in the mid. They do have a one-tank advantage, but that Leopard needs to push the 1-2 right now and get that positional advantage. They can't lose this positional advantage that they've gained from so many tanks getting destroyed here. But Gulu making a mistake in the mid here, gets overpeaked by the S-Kong, by Call Me Dragon, takes heavy damage there, down to 407. Will probably get overpeaked by Call Me Dragon here.
And it looks like they are making the play down the one line. Do you think the CS63 should join the Leopard, or do you think he's going to stay behind the heavies?
I don't think it's a mistake. It's just in case that the heavies decide to overpush the mid, like onto Mal in the S-Conk or onto Gulu to try and make that cheap kill. But
I mean, if it was me, the 63's definitely got the legs to run down the one line with the Leopard and create a crossfire on the 277 or on the IS-7.
true, but at the moment, everything hinges on if Joey Hamlet can make it into that A2 corner unspotted. I'm not sure if he can. It looks like CNS the Toxic hasn't spotted him, which is actually brutal. No, he has. So Joey has had to abandon that corner, which means Hidden can now farm him down to 206, and now we should be getting close to the game over phase. Joey getting taken out. They're gonna have a 2-gun advantage. In the they're in crossfire by Hidden. In the meantime, the 1v1 between Cower and Forsaken is happening on the hill, with Forsaken definitely losing that engagement to Cower.
And it's
so
just
that
simply
is
a
one
matter
good
of
thing.
time between the Call Me Dragon evaporates, and then N737 is about to evaporate as well, leaving that CS63 all on his own on the hill, facing up against his opposing CS63.
So it looks like this should be game, set, and match here. GTD-X will take this one 3-1 over Baby RLD here.
Wow, that was interesting. They really went for it, and they maybe didn't need to. Why would they make a decision like that?
Well,
Are they that
I mean,
confident?
sometimes you don't want to show your best defensive camp strats. So the thing is, if you camp against every opponent, the opponent expects it. If you play aggressive, then the opponent doesn't expect it.
But at the cost of the game?
Well, it's about risk. Everything is about risk. You know,
Absolutely.
you gamble all
Risk
the time.
and result. Risk
If
and
you
reward,
if
for
you
sure.
never gambled, everyone would camp, and then everyone would try to counter the camp. So
Absolutely fantastic. Well, what a game that was for a decisive win, effectively, then. And they didn't even have to work for it because they came straight into them and were able to finish them off in short order. Well done. Well done, team. That was absolutely fantastic. What are your initial thoughts there on the spread of damage, Banter? GTD-X's Leopard 1 had a particularly great game there.
Yeah,
5,250
Hidden was just
damage.
able to double bush. I mean, I don't know Hidden personally, but I've known him for years. He used to be in, I believe he was in a CYE. He was in a Romanian WGL team back in the day. So Hidden's a very, very good player. Pulling out 5.2k damage. I mean, that's the point of the Leopard, you know, it's sniping damage. I think just 4 kills you 2 made a bit of a mistake there. He has 2.8k spotting, but I feel like he should have seen those VZs a lot earlier. I think he positioned a bit incorrectly. But apart from that, the damage spread is super nice by the team of GTD-X here. Looking on Baby RLD, the VZs, they got out 1 shot each. I mean, the bat did a bit more, got 2 kills there, but it's got out the full clip. Kavai got out the full clip, which is nice. As long as you got that full clip out in the bat shot, it's still good. But the rest of the team, it's a reasonable split, but it's nothing special, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I still, like I said before, I felt sorry for Joey Hamlet there before because he attempted to make a play, but he does come out on top on damage for RLD in this particular game. So he was in it until the end, making sure of his shots. But unfortunately, with that play at the end where he tried to get into the corner, probably the right thing to do, maybe a little bit late. What a shame, though. Absolutely decisive win, though, and well reacted to. I'd like to thank the players one more time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for playing. That was absolutely fantastic.
Are there any more games today, Xander? Yeah, we can get one more. Who's playing?
Yeah, should we try and arrange some more players to come and play?
Just looking if any teams are currently in a room. Okay, that's not it.
It would be a little bit short notice, so maybe a little bit off the cuff, but it'd be interesting to sit in and see if we can see any more teams play. Equally, though, it might put them off their gameplay if they know that they're going live on stream. Remember, recently I was talking about the mental side of the game and how pressures can affect different people in different ways.
I mean, at the moment, BKC and SCF are playing.
Ah, so
We
do you
could
think we
join
could jump
those.
in? Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
see
we'd
if we
have
can make
to.
contact.
If Xander could go and ask, are they? So SCF and BKC are playing at the moment. Okay. One moment. Let me see who are RQR playing. Actually, they are in battle at the moment against regular RLD. I believe they're on the second. Looks like they might be on a tiebreaker. So unfortunately, we won't be able to see those. Either that or they chose Sun River. So let me try and go back to this.
It'd be really good to see some more players with the interesting strats and get them onto the stream for a bit of the content. Obviously, it's not just the teams that are streaming; it's a whole bunch of teams that are playing that we've organised throughout the day. We're playing obviously for the next 5 weekends.
If you join SFC, no, SCF versus BKC, they're playing.
Okie dokie. Yep. There we go. Found them. Okay, I've just jumped into their room. Looks like they've got mines up at the moment. That'll be interesting to see what happens there, or if that is the map that they're actually going to be playing. I shall let Banter
Xander,
continue to talk
Xander,
to them.
can you join the room? Why? Oh, they're playing now? Okay, we'll do that.
Just clear up what's going on at the moment, guys.
We're joining GTD-X versus Trash. All right, can we? Well, has Gilu like approved it or?
Oh right, okay. Let's jump straight in there. That's and TomTom has no aim is saying hello to me in the chat, which is fantastic.
TomTom is the FC of Trash, actually.
He is. I've actually spoken to him. He's a very nice guy. he's been quite formative actually in his questions of the league and what he expects from the league
The
and what he
matches,
wants out of it.
the game is over open White Storm. You can find it.
I'm in with Tom's thing at the moment.
Are you? Oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah,
Is
I'm already
Xander
there.
there as well?
Let me check.
No, Xander needs to join.
Cannot see him.
Yeah, it's open. Xander, the training room is open. You can join it.
It's fine. So yeah, the league is absolutely I think it's a resounding success. And last night after yesterday's fixtures, I placed a message on our stream to all the players that taken part, thanking everybody for playing with good sportsmanship, and thanking everybody for taking part and really beginning to make this a success that we hope it will be. Obviously, this is by the players, for the players, and WoTi League, very close to our hearts here. We're trying to make it into something interesting and special, and we see that it's got a lot of potential in the future to go in all sorts of directions, but that direction is very much controlled by the players, and we're going to be listening to all the feedback and doing a bit of continuous improvement after this league is concluded and we find out who the winners overall are of this league. Right, how are we doing with the setup, Banter?
We're just waiting for Xander to join, and then we're good to go. Oh, Xander's here. All right.
Absolutely smashing. For anybody that hasn't had a little look at wotileague.com, feel free to have a little peruse and see all of our assets that we've got on that website at the moment. That's our main landing page where we're putting a lot of our information. It's what's going to basically be our main platform for placing things like the rule book, which is going to be ever changing, but during the time of competition, it does not change. It's locked in at the start of the league. It's agreed by the players for the players. And then afterwards, we'll look at continually improving it iteratively in order to make it more agreeable and more transparent, or whatever fancy words you want to use, so that the players all understand where they stand and how this competition will be played. Okay, so it looks like the guys are just sorting themselves out in the room, and they're getting ready to go into spectator mode, and they're all going to be picking the tanks that they desire for this match. I believe that we're going to be competing on Himmelsdorf. Is that correct?
Yes, they're going to be playing on Himmelsdorf.
Absolutely fantastic. A classic map, one of the first maps in World of Tanks. So everybody should know this one inside out and back to front, especially if you're playing at this level. Common strats on this one then, Banter. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, Himmels is a city map. It's a heavy map, so we're going to be seeing a lot of some E100s, S-Conks, maybe an E302, 50Bs, VZs. We're going to be seeing heavies, less lights, but less mediums, I mean. But you can still see them. We saw them on Runeberg, so...
Yeah, I mean, when I used to play this in a competitive style, it was all Type 5 heavies, and it was HE heavy, and it was E100s and Jaegeroos, and it was all crazy. These days, obviously, with the HE changes, how much is that going to affect how people play? They're going to have to be much more they're going to have to control where they shoot tanks a lot better than how it used to be back in the day.
I mean, but when you're talking back in the day, this was years ago with the Type 5. But
I know.
Yeah, Type 5 got nerfed into the ground because it was broken. I remember playing competitive 15v15 World of Tanks. Ensk was a fun one, getting hit for 600 repeatedly that you can't angle for. That was an enjoyable experience. But yeah,
I tell you what, these new changes, it feels like the game is much more competitive and much more technical now.
I mean, it's much more balanced, and it's what's been enjoyable for me, especially in 15-15 competitive, is how you can counter a 279 if you double track him and then just keep shooting him in the lower plate with HE in the tracks, because it penetrates tracks. It hits the weak part of the armor underneath the tank, which means you can do like 100 per shot while perma tracking at 279, which is very
all the
satisfying.
tricks are coming out. Nice. I know a lot of the players who are new to the game, they come up against something like that and they absolutely cack themselves because they're like, oh my goodness, that is a crazy tank. I can't penetrate it. So it's yeah, that's one way of dealing with it. It's not the way I would deal with it. I'd personally don't really carry that much in the way of HE. Certainly not enough to take down best part of 2,000-3,000 worth of HP. Anyway, we're into the match. We're into Himmelsdorf, and it's Trash against GTD-X.
Yeah, so looking at the lineups here, Trash on the defensive here, E3, VZ, S-Conk, 277, double 50B, and 113. Quite an old meta lineup there with the double Bs, but VZ in there. E3 is pretty standard on defense. E3 is so strong, just in every single situation. Like an E3 is like an IS7 for Himmels, you know.
Definitely.
It's so strong on attack. One VZ, double 50B, triple 113, and one S-Conk. So quite an interesting one here.
Yeah, so let's just have a little chat about the strats real quick. So I played towards the 2 line most of the 2 cap when I'm attacking normally, but I've seen a lot of players that they go and defend the 1 and then react to the 2 if they're in defense.
Well, most of the time you see kind of they keep maybe one tank on A6, they keep an E3 in the window, and the rest of them focus on the 1-2 line, because the 1-2 line is obviously you need to deal damage. While they're pushing, but looks like here they are pushing through the 8 line. The VZ of Dave here, he should spot this out. We'll see if he gets any damage on the crossing. Doesn't look like he has. I can't tell if he has.
And they've left a Super
but...
Conqueror behind as the AMX-50B goes onto the hill to be looking at Overwatch.
But that wasn't really the best there. Dave there didn't get any shots on the crossing. I think Pascal gave 2 to Galu, but wasn't that much damage on this VZ55. And now the reaction needs to come in by Trash. The triple cap will be started by these tanks on the corner. That's a double cap for now. The E3 does have a small decap angle, but it's not great.
They need to react now for sure because they're putting on pressure on that cap. They've got all 3 in behind the building, and it'll be interesting to see. Some of their tanks are quite far away from the cap.
Yeah, the E3 is moving forward. He will get the decap here, but he should take pretty heavy damage for this. 30 seconds on that. The tanks of Trash are moving in, but the problem is the S-Conk on the 8 line. He is kind of giving crossfire. Patrick goes and tries to counter him, but now they're going to be trading off. The decap does come out here, but X-Man takes heavy damage for this. Galu, the 50B, and the Toxic there in the VZ going to take him out down to 48 HP. Galu should be able to pick that one up. TomTom in the meantime, I think he got blown up there. I didn't actually see it, unfortunately. But yeah, now that Trash had 2 tanks down, they've been forced into a bad engagement. Things are not that good. I believe this game completely hinges on whether Patrick wins this 1v1 at the moment. If he wins it, I believe they have a chance. If not, and we're definitely going to be seeing GTX winning their first attacking round on Himmelsdorf here.
Absolutely, and I'm quite surprised, but they're continuing to pressure that cap just to make people sweat and change the way people's minds are thinking.
Galu never got decap, so why should he leave it? 30 seconds on that one, but really, the cap won't even matter at this point.
It won't matter at all, but it does in the mental capacity because it makes people make silly decisions because they know they're being pressured.
I mean, GTD-X haven't lost a single tank here. It's an absolute rout. 8k HP still on the board. Not a single tank being a one-shot here, apart from maybe Mal with if you're in a 277, but it's an absolute slaughter here. Very, very nice by GTD-X. Good
very slick move into the 2 cap there. Very slick. Made them all react as they were out of position, and they seemed to be quite far away. They didn't. It's like they just didn't react. Maybe they didn't believe that they would do it, or maybe they thought they were driving through it, but then they didn't. They stopped and they capped, putting on maximum pressure and making people think, what are they actually doing, and trying to work it out. That was absolutely fantastic. Well played. Let's run through the teams and see how they did on the damage spread. Obviously, GTD-X with the more damage than Trash overall. I'm going to have a little chat about how the damage spread is. It looks like 113 coming out on top, but driven by Forsaken for GTD-X.
Yeah, he was the tank making crossfire, making sure they can decap. He was on the hold down. It's a strong position. He did very good damage. 50B on Albert as well, can't be overstated. It may not look as good as Forsaken. The 3 kills are so valuable. Mal as well. Mal spent his whole game just 1v1ing Patrick there, so he got like 2.5 HP just from Patrick because he was just face hugging and they were shooting each other in the upper plate. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game here. It wasn't really that close. I mean, X-Man had to go forward for the decap, but he got absolutely obliterated off the face of the earth. After he fires, they just went around him and just got the decap. And I think TomTom, no, it doesn't look like TomTom got blown up. But yeah, we will be switching sides here, though. I'm just going to ask, what map did GTD choose?
Alrighty, so
But, yeah.
So we're just going to set up for the next round and switch the teams around so that the next attack can take place. But what a fascinating game. One team made a decisive pressure and kept the pressure on once they had it. And the other team just didn't quite react. And when they did react, they didn't react in time and were punished for it. So now we're going to hopefully switch sides and we'll see if this goes with serve. Are the attacking team going to be able to do the same again, or is one team clearly going to out-quality the other team?
I mean, the thing is, losing your attacking round is really painful in the sidekick. I mean, the attacking times were expected to win. For sure, it's Himmelsdorf. Himmelsdorf attack is not... No, Himmelsdorf defense isn't as preferable as certain maps like Steppes, Ruinberg, Arctic Region, some of these others. But, I mean, it still is important. You still have that 8th player, which is the time when you're playing on defense here. Like, I'd definitely still... If I had a choice, I'd definitely still choose defense, because the enemy has to push into you. So it is quite demoralizing, but we'll need to see. I mean, we saw earlier HAPPS obviously came back from the
2-0 down.
The 2-0 down. So need to see. Both the teams are ready here. Quite nice here. Both teams are readying up pretty quickly, and we should be getting underway shortly here.
And I just want to say that the guys, all of these teams, they've all been sticking rigidly to the rules. And I just want to thank everybody for doing that. Great sportsmanship there. Well played by everybody for keeping up the quality of these matches and the good sportsmanship as we move into the next game of the night.
Yeah, but looking in here, we're looking at the double 113, double 50B S-Conk VZ for the defensive team here. Quite an active defense. You can go very aggressive with this one. And with Trash on attack, heavier lineup here. Double 50B 277, double S-Conk VZ 55, and a T110 E3. So yeah, it's a pretty good lineup. A lot of teams take E3 on attack to play on the hill to give yourself some hill dominance and then potentially play over the 2-cap here. But to see what GTD want to do, it looks like they are going for an aggressive defense, leaving the 2-cap completely empty. And it looks like they might want to play some KJ H-line aggression here with their 113s and the 50Bs. They do have very nice DPM with those tanks. 50Bs have good burst, but you need to bear in mind that will be given in kind with Trash's 50Bs. So.
Yeah, and interestingly, this time, last time they made a pressure down the 8 line when they were attacking, and now this time they're going over the hill. So we're going to see a later attack when it comes, because obviously they've got a lot further to drive. So that's going to enable the defending teams to get into more of a defensive position.
But a lot of info has already been given here to the side of Trash. Forsaken and Gelu here are spotted in these positions. Forsaken is leaving. Gelu is staying. I don't really like that decision. I feel like this position that Gelu's in, Redline, can get sniped in the turret by the E3. Obviously, E3 is its NTD. It has almost 400 millimeters of pen. 375 to be precise. Statistics. So he can get overpeaked from the hill, but in the meantime, the pushes are coming in here. The double 50Bs have crossed. They've given a couple of different shots to the S-Conks there, but now both these 50Bs are stuck behind this church here, but they are kind of isolating out Patrick here, and really Trash need to make a decisive decision right now, otherwise they're going to start losing map control.
They have to be careful, though, because the E3 can shoot down into the cap if it has the ability.
Well, where the cap would normally be.
My apologies, where the cap would normally be, he can actually fire down that road.
Yeah, so if they try and leave, he should give a big shot there. If he's a big brain gamer, X-Men there, he'll load high explosive and try and pen them in the back. But
yeah,
we need to see. It looks like Trash are grouping up for a push. They might want to push onto these 50Bs, but they do have the 277 still on the hill, so this is quite risky.
Is the 277 has the speed to relocate, though, and react to stuff all around.
He does, but he's not relocating at the moment. He is staying on this hill. He's trying to pressure Mal, but here comes the repush here. They're pushing onto the 50Bs. We'll need to see if they can eliminate them nice and quickly before they lose any tanks here. They're focusing out the S-Conk of Delisi here. Goes down to 700 HP. Albert trying to shield Hidden so Hidden can get out his clip. Very nice team play here. But the end result will be the same here. Albert's going to try and get out his clip, but he will go down as well, probably to Davey. And now these 50Bs are both on reload. In the meantime, the repush has come in. They are trying to pick up Patrick here. The Toxic there runs away on 700 HP, but Patrick is still alive, and there's no way to catch them. Now the tanks of GTD are caught in a bit of a trap. They're one tank down. They have a bit more HP, but their positions are much worse. In the meantime here, Patrick is fighting against just 4 kills. U2 does bounce the shot there, giving Patrick a little bit more time to get out a bit more of that S-Conk DPM that's so brutal there. He should have, ooh, big high roll there by just 4 kills. U2, so very lucky for him to get that high roll. And now things are swinging more into Trash's favor. They are 2k HP up. Right now, a decisive decision does need to come out here by GTD, or they are going to let this game slip out of their grasp.
So initially, yeah, both teams taking 2 tanks down, but the difference in HP is almost an entire tier 10, isn't it?
That's the problem is that the E3's out of the fight the whole time, which is a really big problem here.
That's
now
a
these
lot of
teams,
damage.
The 50Bs have the clip potential, but the 1 teams just have the HP, and they can start to side scrape them, kind of brutalize them here. These 50Bs are not in a good position. They're straight up not having a good time.
But they are putting out the 113s are putting in the damage though. They did slam into one into Dave and then another one into Pascal just there, and they're spreading the damage quite nicely. Is just kill for you or whatever you call him is able to come in and take away the rest of the HP of those tanks. What a decisive play!
I think I've actually been messing up the teams the whole game. I've been saying it as if GTD-X is losing, but they're actually winning. Sorry about that. I'm a professional caster, by the way. But yeah, I mean, the E3 is still sniping from the hill, but all of that HP is just so pointless now. You can have all the HP in the world, but it doesn't mean he's going to win. You know, if you save your HP for the late game, you're going to be outnumbered. Gun in the game is always more important than HP, and just having this E3 there on the hill, he's been useless for most of the game. He's going to get a bit more endgame damage into pad his stats so we can complement him, but I always take that into account if he's the last alive and he deals a clip while he's about to die, so...
Yeah,
he'll
absolutely.
get no praise from me.
Absolutely, but X-Man, he did take a very interesting position, being able to shoot into the random spawn cap. Obviously, the cap not being in this area, and he did hold back those 50Bs for quite a while. But now he was ineffective for, I don't know, maybe 4 minutes of the game, it felt like, because he probably didn't even need to get a shot off.
Xander, if you want to go to X-Men's first-person view and click space, you can see what he's aiming.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if he can pull anything out of the bag here. He's got 2,220 hit points.
Why, Xander?
Anyway, he's still managing to back up here as the rest of the team are making their way up the hill
but
towards him.
He's giving up the defensive positions. He should have actually stayed forward. If he stayed forward, he could have watched both roads. Now they can just go under him and around him.
Now he's turned his side. He turned his side as he's trying to get back in position.
I thought he was giving up there, but no, he's going for that in-game damage. He wants to pad his stats. He's on 6k, to be fair, which is a very high amount of damage, but I mean, it's not going to make a difference. Bear in mind, he's only padded, I think, 1 or 2 shots of damage in. If he gets out another one, he's going to be... does get out one more final shot there. Goes on to 6.8k damage, which is very impressive, but it's... I mean, a lot of that damage was external damage, you know, it's a shot here, it's a shot there, it's not focused fire.
Yeah, it's not focused at all. That's, you just need to get those guns out of the game in 7s. That's been proven time and time and time again. Goodness me, what a game though. That's fantastic to watch that. Once again, I'm not convinced on 50Bs being in the 7s at this, and I'm sure that they're meta. But then,
I mean, 50Bs are still very strong, but VZs have so much burst. It's so satisfying to... It's like my favorite pastime, watching a VZ kill someone. Okay, I was actually mistaken. It must have been a bug in the training room. X-Men actually only didn't do 7k damage, which even I thought was a little bit unusual there. On my screen, it showed he did 7k in the bottom left. He actually only did 2.6, and if you take away the 1400 damage he dealt in the end game, it's about 2 shots of damage. He only did...
wow, so he was out of the game all game effectively with only 2 shots away.
He did 2 shots of damage, but it's not enough. Yeah. This E3 was really unproductive here. Same with Delisi in the S-Conk. Very minimal amounts of damage.
with the ability to tank so much shots with the E3, I'm surprised he didn't get more involved in the
I
game.
mean, bear in mind, he's not quick. D3 is used on the hill to snipe downwards. I did like what GTD did. They played aggressive from the start. They showed cojones, you know, they showed balls, which I really respect. Going for
Absolutely.
that aggressive Himmelsdorf. On the GTD side, GTD side, just 4 kills, you two, pulling out the 5.2k damage. Big carries, big carries. 2 kills as well, which is very nice. Albert getting out 3.3, Forsaken 2.7. I mean, it's a nice damage split, only Hidden not doing much. But bear in mind, Hidden got focus first. I feel like he should have still gotten his clip out, but I mean, he still got focus first there. It was Albert who managed
Absolutely.
to hit 8 out of 8, which is a very good
Yeah.
2 full clips of damage.
And Albert even managed to try and get in the way so that Albert didn't lose his. So Albert tried to get in the way to keep Hidden in the game in
Yeah,
that
I mean, it
play
didn't
as
make
well.
a difference, but it's still good team play to see. It's very, very
Absolutely.
good team play to see. But yeah,
Great.
looking at the other side of trash, 2.8k by the 50B. The E3 of X-Men, we've already said, only 4. Like, it looks good, 3k damage almost, but it's actually only 4 shots of damage.
Mm.
And 2 of
Yeah,
those were in the
absolutely.
end game. I think he got 2 kills, which is important for sure. He got 2 like kind of low HP kills, and those 2 full shots in the end, but it just wasn't a crucial contribution, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's the scores on the doors then?
So at the moment, it's 2-0 to GTD-X, with GTD-X on the
GTD-X, yeah.
defensive here. So Trash might be going down here, and looks like Pascal has had some internet issues. So hopefully he'll come back, and we'll get into this potential final game.
This is and is this the map that they've chosen? Have they chosen Cliff to make their
Yes,
final map?
GTD-X chose Cliff, where
Okay.
Trash actually chose Himmelsdorf.
This seems like quite a clan favorite, the Cliff map. Certainly,
Well, yeah,
I've seen a
it's
lot
a
of
very
people
good
take
map. A
it.
lot of teams are picking the maps they know, of course. So these are the maps in previous tournaments, so they choose those. I'm still dreaming of the day that we see Mannheim Line and, you know, all of these others. Like, I really want to. I want the day where we get to see those. But all these teams, they're all cowards. They're pussies. They don't want to fight these new maps. So yeah.
Oh dear. Right. So it looks like Pascal has returned online again after being offline for a short moment. So we're just letting the rest of the team sort themselves out. We've got one that is currently selecting his tank. And then Cliff is going to be our next map. Who is attacking and who is defending?
At the moment, it's going to be GTD on the defense because they attacked first on Himmelsdorf. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, Pascal, it's still showing his tank as a 50B because he hasn't loaded in just yet. But when he loads in, he'll go to spectator and he'll pick his tank. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, it's going to be difficult for Trash. I mean, they're on the attack, which is not going to be easy.
That's right, but we have seen teams come back from this. As we said earlier on in the stream, HAPPS came back from a 2-0 deficit to win their heat. So it could happen. You don't know. This is the excitement of the competition, that's for sure. Okay, so Pascal is managing to get back into the game, and he is now collecting his tank. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams choose to tackle the problem that is Cliff. So we've been through briefly, Banter, the type of strats. What do you think? Do you know any of these players? Do you think any of them are going to choose?
I know some of them. I know 1 or 2. The Trash guys I'm not that familiar with. I mean, I've spoken with TomTom before. I don't know them that much. With GTD, I've played with them before in advances sometimes. Lovely Romanian guys, really nice guys.
Yeah.
Mal is a very friendly guy. He's mostly leading them 15-15. But apart from that, these teams are a little bit unknown to me. So I can't really predict their play style as I could in the previous games. As everyone should know, I'm the guy who knows everyone. You know, I see all, I hear all. But these guys are a little bit unknown, so we'll need to see. I mean, it is Cliff. It's not an easy map. It's a very player skill based map, which kind of makes me feel that GTD are going to be in the driver's seat here. I feel like the player skill is kind of close.
Well, we saw that on that boost. If you remember the boost from the previous time we saw this map on the stream tonight, player skill definitely coming into it with the guy not being able to get onto the hill.
I mean, that's not necessarily player skill. That's just training, right? Like, just doing boosts is training. It's not player skill. Player skill is like shooting, positioning, rotations. But it is something that you need to train, because if you mess it up, not only do you let down your team, you look
you're
like an idiot on
potentially-
stream, which is even more important.
Okay, so let's run down the tanks as we're into the battle now.
We're in the potential final game here. Looking at the lineup here, Trash on the attack, 113, S-Kong, VZ, Batchat, and Triple CS. Quite an aggressive lineup there, but a slow S-Kong could be pretty detrimental. For GTD-X, we're looking at TVP, double CS, double VZ, double 113. Bit of a heavier lineup there. Going to try and, with the TVP, try and counter the hill climb in the beginning. So we'll see how that one goes. And yeah.
Alrighty, so it looks like all of GTD-X are going for the mid-ridge straight away, except for VZ that's going to go and block down the 1-2 line. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, I guess, the Batchats of CS63 and the VZ are going down the line to meet him, trying to take the donut in the early part of the game.
We need to see, will Hidden hit all the shots here? Because Patrick and X-Men are going up the hill in the beginning. Hidden's going to go and try and get that clip out. And because they're pausing, they're going to get clipped out. He gives one, and it takes another one from the CS on the balcony. Hidden making these clips work, clipping, getting out the full 404 clip. Very, very nice there by Hidden. HP loss pretty significant for the tanks of Trash at the moment, going up the hill, taking even more. Tank of Mal 90 there, shooting them going up the hill. Patrick forced to drop on 720 HP. X-Men's probably going to need to drop as well. All this HP being traded for no positional gain is really, really detrimental. Mal has taken a little bit of damage, but it's just not significant at the moment. Going down to 91 HP.
91 hit points. He's managed to finally come down off of the hill, keeping his gun in the game, but goodness me, 91 hit points.
I mean, now Trash
shaking in his boots.
You know, this is what we call rock meets hard plays. Both the CS is on low HP, the TVP is flanking. He'll probably be able to either clip out Delisi on the ramp there and the S-Kong or make kills. And these S-Kongs, a play needs to come out here and now by the tanks of Trash. They need to either repush lower side or do something at the moment, because the tanks in the middle here, Nachum and Delisi, they're getting clipped from behind, they're getting peeked from the front, they're getting wrecked from multiple sides, and things are just going from bad to worse for Trash. They're 5k down already. Just the brutal crossfire and the great team play, to be quite frank, of GTD-X is making such a big difference here.
And that's the first tank down. And the hit point deficit is absolutely massive at 6.6 thousand HP.
7k, it's getting worse and worse.
It's getting worse and worse. This game is over.
Cliff is a heavy player skill map, but they chose Himmelsdorf. They lost it 2-0, and GTD chose Cliff. I mean, this was an absolute slaughter here, really. The GTD-X, they kept up the aggression. They played fast. They played strong, really. And this was an absolute brutal one here.
They were absolutely ruthlessly decisive on what it was that they were going to do and how they were going to execute it. Absolutely fantastic play.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this GTD-X team, it has some members, as I mentioned earlier. Hidden from CYE used to play WGL back in the day, back in Silver League. I used to fight him every weekend. So we had some very good games there. The Romanians play very, very well. But yeah,
these guys,
very good game.
Very, very cohesive team. Obviously, that was great play. Well played.
I think it was strong, very strong.
Very, very decisive. I'm impressed. Okay, let's go and have a look at the team scores and just see how the spread of damage is. Oh, very consistent from GTD-X. Very consistent indeed. They've all got very good damage here.
Well, yeah, I mean, no one doing under 1k. CNST getting 2 kills as well. And he was out of the game on the lower side for most of it. So looking at the rest, Mal on 1.5, just kills for you 2, 1.8. And the rest, like Hidden, doing 12, 10, 9. Very good in the TVP. Albert doing 3.5. I mean, it's a solid spread. It's a solid spread.
And you know what? It's good to see. It's good to see the GGs coming out in the chat there from both the sides of the team. That's been consistent all the way through the games that I've played myself, and seeing throughout today on the stream, everybody is GGing, which is fantastic to see. Very little toxicity going on during this competition. I love to see that. Absolutely brilliant.
Are there any more games being played, Xander, or is that it for today? Oh Lord above Xander, Domine.
I think that is an absolute smashing place to stop. I think we should go into a little bit of wash up and re-describe what we've seen, and then probably get ready to close out the stream, as we've done a good 2.5 hours.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So the first game we saw a comeback from 2-0 down.
Was a
As
much
we've described.
less
The second
close
game,
affair.
uh,
It was GT.
against
No, it was
oh no,
Baby
RLD.
RLD versus
Yeah,
GTD-X. It
Yeah,
was didn't go to tiebreaker, unfortunately. I believe GTD-X took it 3-1 after winning 2-0 on Proco, winning their
yeah, and we
attack
saw
and their
that
defense there. Yeah, 1-2, a 1-2 repush. That was a bit of a tactical error.
yeah,
So,
and I just can't help remember that those CS63s burning straight across the map river, and then the repush again. What drama during that Prokhorovka map. Absolutely fantastic. I love to see that. It was brilliant.
yeah, it was very, very good.
So any strats that you've seen so far that you've looked at and thought, you know what, that's genius.
I mean, from my last undergrad, I can't say I wanna see the new maps. You know,
Yeah.
I wanna see what people come up with the new maps, because the old maps I've seen everything. You know, these maps never change. New tanks never get introduced. I mean, VC is reasonably new, but hasn't really changed it. You're not really gonna see new strats at this
No?
point. You're gonna see recycled old strats. I mean, I'm an old dog in the competitive scene of
Well,
this game. I've seen just
even
about
with the
everything.
even with
But
the omission of the EBR, it's I think it's to see some of these older tanks and less used tanks, because obviously normally you'd just be filled full of 279Es and
chieftains.
chieftains and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah, well, that's the nice thing about
I'm really enjoying it.
7-on-7. The fact that there's no reward tanks allowed just allows you to make strats based on different tanks, and it makes for a much more tactical and competitive game. But definitely, I definitely don't think I've seen anything new and special. But I want to see teams in the future choosing the new maps. I want to see Mannerheim Line. I want to see Lakeville. These are the maps I want to see. So for everyone watching out there, if you've got games in the future that we're going to show, please choose those maps, because that's what I want to see.
Absolutely. Anyway, gentlemen and ladies, if any are watching, we're going to show the website now. We're going to, whilst we switch to that, it's going to let you know that the fixtures and the results of those fixtures are going to be published on Tuesday, I believe, once the graphics have all been made to show the results of each group. So please, a little bit of patience there. Everybody's going to be placing their replays in our Discord so that we tally up everything and make sure everything is all correct. And then once all of that is done, we've given ourselves until Tuesday to make sure that it's all up and ready for the next round of competition. Okay, is the website up? Excellent. Okay, so here you can see wotileague.com/news. That's one of the tabs here, and this is probably where we're going to be placing some of the results and the next set of fixtures, who's going forward, and unfortunately who's had to bin out of the competition. So guys, wotileague.com is where we're going to be describing maybe some of the things that happened during the matches as well. Certainly for the streamed matches, we're going to write a little blurb to say who did well and take out some of the prominent things, just to give it a bit of context if you're not sure. And if you want to have a look, if you're not playing but you want to know what's going on, you can download the official rulebook and have a little look at it. The rulebook is controlled by the players, for the players, and you can do this at any time that you like. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, this is a alpha kind of competition. We've never run one of these before. Certainly nobody in the community that is running this currently has ever done this kind of stuff before. If you do have any questions, please do get in contact with us. You see that there is a contact area on the website, and you can leave your feedback and your message, and somebody will more than likely get back to you if it is certainly an intelligent message that we can respond to in a like for like manner. Okay. And also you can see the entire team that make up the WoTi League administration in the Meet the Team tab, and you can see all of the people that have been involved and the various avatars that they're choosing to share, and maybe even a little bit of information about what kind of tanks they like. Banter, it looks like you need to update yours, by the way, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It says I'm a Renewatsu main at the moment, but I need to definitely update at the moment. I just haven't found time to create some kind of description. I'm very busy at the moment in my real life and other stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely find time at some point to update it.
That's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much us. We're just going to quick look at the guidebook. I don't remember being involved in the creation of the guidebook, but is this, I presume this is just to let everybody know how we communicate with the players, how the players can communicate
How
with
they
us.
can organize the 7v7 games.
Yeah, how we can. Yep. So this is to organize the game so that everything is done in exactly the same way, and so that everybody is doing it in a standardized way. It's very important for the competition's integrity. Okay, so this is everything, how to ban, how to select maps, what to do in a tiebreaker situation, and how to show everybody their tank. So as you saw during the matches, there was a countdown from 10 to 0, and then everybody was on spectator mode, and when they hit 0, they unchecked the spectator box, making all of the tanks appear, and that meant that nobody is able to change their tanks in reaction to other people's tanks at the end there. The after battle report, obviously, the clan representatives, what they're going to do is they're going to send us the replay so we can just have a little check and invigilate them if anybody sees that there is any problems, although I don't think there has been any problems. And then all of these things will be collated and tallied by the administrative here at WoTi League. Alrighty. Any final words there, Banter?
No, not really. I mean, you've said just about everything I need to say, so yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think it's about time, Xander, that unless you've got any words here, we're going to close off the stream. I'd like to thank everybody else for watching. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for sticking with us. And we'll see you next Saturday and Sunday for some more stream
Yep.
of this
See you next week,
fantastic
guys.
competition.
We
Bye-bye.
love you all. Bye.